Chapter 25-29. Many sacred land martial artists turned into blood and scattered in the void. The scene was very miserable. But, damn it. Seeing this scene, the three great sage powerhouses roared crazily, "Use your trump cards." They used the Immortal Palace, Lightning Pool, and 5 Elements flag again, preparing to kill these top puppets. Pumph. Elder Lee snorted coldly and formed a seal with his palm again. Thousands of top puppets roared. The runes on their bodies flickered quickly and circled continuously, forming a huge phantom in the sky. This phantom also had a human body and a snake tail. It held a desolate ancient artifact in its hand and emitted a desolate aura as if it had crossed time and space. Was this a half-demon? Many young disciples were puzzled. Those living fossils were trembling. Don't talk nonsense. This was a totem. It was said that countless years ago, the ancestors of the human race had this form of a human body and a snake tail. This immortal palace was too terrifying and mysterious. I'm afraid they're even more terrifying than we imagined. What? Totem. The surrounding people were stunned. The eyes of the Yi family, Jade Lake Sacred Land, Dao Yi Sacred Land, and other great sage powerhouses flickered. The elders of the imperial dynasties also had solemn expressions. Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu breathed a sigh of relief. Their expressions eased, and they even smiled. The stronger immortal palace was, the safer Lin Xian would be. The more relieved they were. However, the elders behind them were completely stunned. Previously, they had planned to save the other party's life in a critical moment. But now, it seemed that there was no need to do so. The other party's foundation was beyond their imagination. In the sky, the huge totem emitted a desolate aura and quickly pressed down. It collided with the trump cards of the 3 great sage powerhouses. An even more intense explosion sounded as if the world was about to be destroyed. At this moment, all the surrounding sacred land martial artists activated their armor and defense to resist. They were like small boats swaying in the wind. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, in this violent energy, there was an even more terrifying murderous aura. 7 rays of light pierced through the entire space like pillars. They tore apart the storm that filled the sky. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that Immortal Palace used another trump card? The surrounding people were terrified. They all trembled and couldn't help but want to kneel down. This power was too strong. Even the Immortal Palace, the Lightning Pool, and the 5 Elements flags in the sky were trembling nonstop. How could this be? How could they possess such powerful strength? The faces of the people of the great sage changed. Could it be that it was the pressure of the sage again? They thought that Lin Xian had unraveled the saint's hand bone and produced this power. Immortal Palace's side was similarly shocked. This was because Lin Xian did not use the saint's hand bone. He looked around and found that other than Elder Li's Bean soldiers, no one else had used any other terrifying trump cards. Then what was with this terrifying aura? Elder Li also noticed this point, and his expression was uncertain. "Elder Li, don't do anything," Lin Xian said from the side. He had a feeling that there was something wrong with the tomb. Sure enough, Elder Li nodded and withdrew the huge totem in the sky. The 1,000 top-notch puppets quickly retreated and circled around them. It disappeared. The totem's aura disappeared. The eyes of the experts outside flickered. The light that filled the sky was pierced through. Finally, everyone could see the scene in front of them clearly. What was that? They were stupefied, because they discovered that the trembling power that made them feel despair wasn't released by Immortal Palace. It was not released by the Great Sage either. It was something else. The Great Sage was also stunned. What exactly was that? Damn it, it wasn't Immortal Palace's people. In the space between them and Immortal Palace, 7 streaks of light appeared. To be more precise, they were 7 coffins. 7 bronze coffins appeared on the ground. They emitted a heavy aura. The 7 streaks of killing intent that connected heaven and earth were released by these 7 bronze coffins. As soon as they appeared, it was as if 7 demonic mountains were pressing down on everyone's hearts. It was so heavy that they couldn't breathe at all. Each of the 7 bronze coffins was incomparably huge, as if they had existed for countless years. Looking from the sky, they formed the shape of the Big Dipper. In fact, there were stars engraved on the 7 bronze coffins. The Big Dipper coffin. Everyone swallowed their saliva crazily. They were facing the bronze coffins that suddenly appeared as if they were facing a great enemy. Whose coffin was that? Who was buried inside? Why would it appear at this time? Could it be that they had encountered some kind of restriction when they were fighting earlier? Would it be dangerous for them after it appeared? They had no idea. Boom, boom, crack. While they were still in shock, one of the bronze coffins suddenly began to tremble. Damn it! What happened? Could it be that it was going to turn into a corpse? Everyone was terrified. No, they had to stop it. They were too terrified because the corpses and heads they had discovered so far were at least at the level of an invincible king. Moreover, the Een soldiers from before had also left a huge shadow on them. Therefore, they did not allow the bronze coffin to revive. They did not allow the things inside to come out. In an instant, countless people unleashed formation after formation to seal the coffin. They flew down, wanting to completely seal the coffin. Boom! The people from the 5 Elements Palace were the closest, and they were the first to set up the 5 Elements seal. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 5 mysterious runes floated down and enveloped the bronze coffin. Whoosh! Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Bang! Damn it! Not good! They cried out in alarm again because they discovered something. The 5 Elements seal. It was actually shattered in an instant. On the bronze coffin. A flickering star. It directly broke through the 5 Elements seal, and the bronze coffin trembled even more violently. Ice whirled. A delicate shout sounded, and countless ice spread out. Immediately, the trembling bronze coffin was sealed in ice. Not only it, but the surrounding space was covered in snow, turning into a world of ice and snow. An elder from the Moon Palace made a move. However, everyone did not relax and continued to watch intently. Sure enough, in the next moment, the world of ice and snow that filled the sky quickly melted, turning into countless puddles of water that sank into the ground and disappeared. The bronze coffin was still trembling, and it was getting more and more intense. Don't hesitate, hurry up and make a move, the Yi family elders said coldly. The people from the Wavering Light Sacred Land also shouted coldly. In an instant, everyone in the surroundings made a move. The light that filled the sky condensed, trying to seal the bronze coffin below. However, before they could make a move, the bronze coffin in front of them cracked open. Damn it! It opened! Everyone trembled and almost fell from the sky. They did not expect the coffin to open so suddenly. Chapter 25:30. Whoosh! When the bronze coffin was halfway open, a pale hand grabbed the edge. Then a figure sat up. Crack, crack. The purple figure walked out of the coffin and floated in the air. What's that? Everyone was stunned. They finally got a clear look at the figure. To be exact, it wasn't a human. It was very strange. It was very similar to the puppet from before. It had a human body, but its body was covered in scales. There was also a tail behind it that looked like a snake's tail. However, it had a different tail. The snake's tail was extremely smooth, but the tail was covered in poisonous thorns. As it swayed, it easily shattered the void. Monster beast! Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that the thing that came out of the bronze coffin was not a human, but a monster beast. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. They had encountered all kinds of strange things before. They had even encountered the heads of 99 invincible kings. However, those people before were from the human race. They didn't look like monsters at all. But now, one of the coffins of the Big Dipper contained a demonic beast. What was going on? Were the other 6 demonic beasts as well? They didn't know. They couldn't even fight against one of them. That was because the monster with purple scales and a purple tail in front of them was floating in the air. 2 balls of white flames suddenly appeared in its eye sockets. Attack quickly! Boom, boom, boom. Countless powerhouses attacked, turning into a sky full of energy that slashed at the fist technique. In an instant, the purple figure was shrouded. Light erupted, sword chi and saber light flashed. The space in front of them exploded in an instant, turning into nothingness. That's great. Was it destroyed? Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Although the other party had come out, it definitely couldn't withstand the attacks of so many people. Gulp, gulp. Suddenly, a purple light appeared in the sky. It was like a heavenly saber that cut open the sky. Boom. The energy was also cut open. A pair of purple hands destroyed everything. A purple silhouette walked out from within. Bush. It wasn't injured. How was that possible? Damn it, was it still human? What level had this corpse reached? Everyone was stunned. The purple monster beast didn't receive any damage at all. What was even more frightening was that several purple mouths grew out of its body, quickly absorbing the surrounding energy as if it was enjoying delicious food. Oh no, it was going to attack. Boom. The purple palm covered the sky and the earth, slapping toward them. It was as if 100,000 mountains were pressing down on them. With a bang, many people were pushed back, and the violent energy in the sky was also torn apart. Damn it. It was so powerful. It seemed that its strength had exceeded that of a supreme. These people were terrified. They didn't expect the other party was too powerful. Furthermore, from the looks of it, the corpse that had been dead for tens of thousands of years had mutated and was now alive. Foolish humans, how dare you trespass into the tomb of the demon race's saint? All of you will die. A cold and ruthless voice, a voice. Ancient tomb of a demon saint? What? How was that? This is clearly the tomb of the human race's saint. All the martial artists from the Holy Lands and great sects were stunned. Lin Xian frowned as well. Because from all the previous signs, all the methods were of the human race. Whether it was those Tao patterns or the treasures, the 99 heads were all of the human race. That was obviously the ancient tomb of the human race's saint. But now, the Big Dipper coffin appeared, and the corpse inside was resurrected. It actually said that this was the ancient tomb of the monster race. Impossible. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. Moreover, more people were puzzled. How could the corpse be resurrected after tens of thousands of years? That was too abnormal. They didn't know the reason, but it was similar to the Yin soldiers. It wasn't a real resurrection. The one that came out of the bronze coffin was already so powerful. If the other 6 bronze coffins came out, wouldn't they be able to defeat everyone? No, they had to kill it quickly. And stop it. Why don't we run away? All kinds of discussions sounded. Many people's eyes flickered as they stared at the bronze coffin. They didn't know what was inside the bronze coffin. They felt that it was necessary to check it out. Behind them, the people of the Demon Emperor Palace were overjoyed. That was great. Finally, someone from the monster race appeared. Like I said, this is the ancient tomb of the monster race's saint. Those despicable humans didn't believe me. Now they know how powerful we are. What should we do now? Should we go up and meet up with the powerful corpse and kill these humans together? An expert voiced his opinion. However, Yen Ryu shook his head. Do you want to be the target of public criticism? Do you think you can exterminate all humans? If one of them goes out, all the holy lands and major sects in the world will attack the Demon Emperor Palace. Do you think the Demon Emperor Palace can survive? If the Saint Physique dies here, I'm afraid the Yi family outside will bring extreme weapons to attack. Hearing about extreme weapons, the experts of the Demon Emperor Palace trembled and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. What should we do? Others asked. Hua Tiandu's eyes flickered. We can stay here and watch. Let them kill each other. These people of the Demon Emperor Palace didn't move forward. Instead, they retreated to a corner. At this moment, no one paid attention to them. After all the Holy Land warriors were staring at the purple figure in front of them as if they were facing a great enemy. At the front, those people were also discussing. Let's fight. We have to deal with this demonic beast. Otherwise, we won't be able to move forward. 5 Elements Palace, 9 Heavens Holy Land, and the 1,000 Thunder Saints people had gloomy expressions. They wanted to take revenge, but they didn't expect such a situation to occur. They gritted their teeth and stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. But you want to fight? I don't mind playing with you. As he spoke, the top-grade puppets around him flickered with mysterious runes and formed a powerful force that intimidated everyone. Damn it. Brat, just you wait. I won't let you off. The people of the great sage Holy Land gritted their teeth and didn't continue to attack. Compared to Lin Xian, the purple demonic beast in front of them was a greater threat. Lin Xian sneered. Elderly waved his hand and kept the top-grade puppets. These were trump cards and couldn't be used for too long. He would only use them in times of danger. Seeing this scene, the four symbols Holy Land, Yin Yang sect, Tuoba family, and others had gloomy expressions. Originally, they wanted to let the other party take the lead and use these puppets to kill the purple demonic beast. They wanted to exhaust Immortal Palace's trump cards. However, they didn't expect the people of Immortal Palace to be so decisive and put away their trump cards in an instant. A young expert from the Tuoba family didn't give up and snorted. Fellow cultivator, why put them away? These top-grade puppets don't have life and can't feel pain. Moreover, they are very strong. Chapter 25:31. As soon as these words came out, everyone turned their heads to look. The faces of the people of Immortal Palace changed. Lin Xian snorted coldly, flicked his finger, and a sword wave flew out, directly killing the young powerhouse who spoke. Damn it! What are you doing? The people of the Tuoba family roared crazily. They didn't expect that the other party would dare to attack them. Moreover, it was a fatal blow right from the start. They couldn't react at all. Give me a reason to protect you? Lin Xian asked coldly. Hearing this, everyone fell silent and didn't speak. That's right, when Immortal Palace was besieged and killed, they didn't go forward to help. Now they wanted the other party to protect them? How was that possible? Damn it! We are all humans. Now that we are facing the demon race, we naturally have to unite against a common enemy. The people of the Tuoba family wanted to use righteousness and reason to suppress the other party. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. Are you all humans? In my eyes, you are not humans. You are just a bunch of animals. What qualifications do you have to say that you are all humans? The people of the Tuoba family were so angry that they vomited blood. They were a dignified family of spirit seekers, dominating a region. When the various holy lands saw them, they had to be courteous. But now, someone actually scolded them in public. How could they endure this? They must kill them. This kid was too arrogant. Damn kid, kneel down and kowtow. Countless roars came. Lin Xian's body erupted with endless sword light. If you want to die, I can fulfill your wish. As soon as the sword light came out, it swept through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Damn it! His strength had become stronger again. This sword chi was so terrifying. No wonder he could kill the 3 sons of the great sage. His strength was much stronger than before. Could it be that this kid had also broken through? Exclamations came one after another. At this moment, the Alcade Saint's eyes flickered. The Zhongzhou twin kings' faces were ferocious. Yi Wudao smiled. As expected of Brother Lin, he didn't let him down. No Flower also chanted Amitabha with a smile on his face. Both he and Lin Xian had obtained a small bronze cauldron. Inside the small cauldron, he had obtained a great opportunity. Come to think of it, Lin Xian should be the same. Stupid humans, even now you're still killing each other. Go to hell. The Purple Monster King's cold voice resounded once more. His palms blotted out the sky and covered the earth, sweeping in all directions. From the looks of it, he should be a protector, protecting the peace of this ancient tomb and hunting down all outsiders. Dodge quickly. Seeing this attack, the Holy Land martial artists were so scared that their scalps went numb. They fled like crazy. The void cracked open, and a huge black hole appeared. Boundless energy surged and swept out in all directions. Many people vomited blood and were sent flying. Boom. However, the experts from the various holy lands also made their moves. Leaf Doudenier roared, and golden light erupted from him, making him look like a golden sun. Then he thrust his hand out, unleashing a massive sealing mark. On the Alcade Saint's body, phantoms of gods and demons filled the sky. Above his head, a ball of holy light condensed and flew out quickly. The middle ground twin kings roared. Demonic chi and Buddhist light flickered. It was strange and terrifying. In addition, The other saints and saintesses all made their moves. Not only the young disciples but the experts, elders, and living fossils also made their moves. Lin Xian circled around him. Under his control, the five-shaped sword Qi also flew forward. Flying flower. Murong Qingqing waved her hand, and petals scattered in the sky, forming a huge light blade that slashed down from the sky. Purple Qi from the east. Shen Jingqiu's face was cold, and her jade-like hands kept waving. Purple Qi floated in the sky, carrying with it a supreme divine power. When these people attacked together, it was really terrifying. Nothing could resist. No matter how powerful the Purple Monster King was, he was still forced back. This is great. He was not an invincible existence. Seeing this scene, everyone was overjoyed and their confidence increased. If they joined forces, they might be able to kill him. The Purple Monster King was forced back, and he was mad with anger. In his eyes, white flames flickered, and an incomparably mysterious power burst out from his body, sweeping in all directions. The attacks from the experts of the Great Sage were all sent flying or disappeared into the black hole. Quickly, form a formation. These elders and saints might be able to withstand such a violent attack, but those young warriors simply couldn't withstand it. Many of them were directly blasted to pieces. Therefore, the elders hurriedly asked the young disciples to form a powerful formation to resist. Sure enough, the foundations of the Great Sage were very terrifying. The young disciples combined into a formation, and the power of the formation was doubled. It could resist the energy attacks that filled the sky. Damn humans, you have angered me. I will definitely kill all of you, the Purple Monster King said coldly. His body expanded, and he turned into a peerless monster king like a purple mountain. The power of his body also suddenly erupted. Mysterious runes appeared on his body one after another, shining incomparably. Dao patterns. These were Dao patterns. Damn it. He had been refined. The elders of the Yi family, the Gu family, and the other clan of the ancients screamed. The pupils of the powerhouses of the various imperial dynasties also shrank. Not good. Retreat. They retreated crazily. However, it was still too late. A purple fist tore through the void. Terrifying energy rushed towards Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian and the others felt a great sense of danger. The sky was filled with sword qi. He crazily activated the great dragon sword soul and erupted to the extreme. Lin Xian's defense was not the strongest, but his attack power was strong. He used offense as defense and destroyed all the energy that rushed over. He dodged the fatal attack, but the aftershock of the energy still knocked him back. His blood boiled. On the side of the immortal palace, the three elders had used their trump cards, so they were safe. The other saints and experts also displayed their trump cards one after another. The replica dragon pattern cauldron and the golden sword all flew out. On Murong Qingqing's side, a huge lotus flower wrapped around her. On Shen Jingqiu's side, countless purple clouds surrounded her, making her look like a fairy. Although these people also used their trump cards, they were all knocked back. Their attacks were also shattered. Although their lives were not in danger, many of them still vomited blood. The formation formed by the young disciples was torn into pieces in an instant. Many of them were directly blasted into a bloody mist by the punch. Damn it, how could he be so strong? Those who were still alive were extremely terrified. The elders' faces were gloomy. Lin Xian also frowned and asked, "Are you saying that the light flickering on the Monster King's body is Dao patterns? Could it be that he is a saint?" He was too shocked. Now he knew that Dao patterns could only be formed by saints. Those below the saint level could not form them at all. They could only observe. However, Dao patterns appeared on the Purple Monster King's body. And there was more than one. Chapter 25:32. This was too terrifying. If this was really the corpse of a saint, then none of them would be able to stop it. It was better to think of a way to escape as soon as possible. No, it wasn't. Palace Master, this was not the corpse of a saint. The Dao patterns on his body were probably carved on by someone else. Carved on? Who had such great strength? Lin Xian was shocked. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. You mean, carved on by a saint? Why would a saint carve Tao patterns on this demon king? Was it just to protect it? That's right, it should be to protect it, Elderly said. With such a powerful corpse guarding it, even if an invincible king came, he probably wouldn't be able to steal the last thing. Could it be that there was some shocking treasure in the saint's ancient tomb? Xing Tian frowned. The dark red dragon's eyes lit up. Could it be the saint's inheritance? Hearing this, everyone's hearts beat wildly. The saint's inheritance. That was the essence of the saint's lifelong learning. Whoever could get it would be able to grow to the invincible king level. Or if they were lucky, they might become the next saint. This made everyone excited. This was much more precious than any natural treasure, spirit pill, or miraculous medicine. But soon he laughed bitterly. Even if there was really the saint's inheritance, so what? With the current situation, they couldn't resist at all. Moreover, this was only one of the bronze coffins. If all 6 of them came out together, no one would be able to resist them. Now, it was better to think about how to escape. Not only Lin Xian and the others guessed so, but the other sacred land martial artists were also discussing. They also guessed that there was a possibility that there was the saint's inheritance. The people of the Demon King Palace in the distance were even more excited. They were the most suitable to cultivate the demon saint's inheritance. After all, although they were half demons, the blood of the demon race flowed in their bodies. Some of them were even mutated species. The demon saint's tradition was very important to them. If they could get one, a living demon saint would appear in the Demon King Palace. In that case, the strength of the Demon King Palace would undergo an earth-shattering change. No, they had to get the last inheritance of this saint's ancient tomb. The people of the Demon King Palace clenched their fists. Hua Tiandu was even more excited. They had to kill him. The great sage discussed for a while. He attacked again. The elders of the Yi family made their move. Leaf Dao Denier was even more powerful than Yang Qi, and as he did, a golden domain sprang up around him. Endless golden light enveloped the entire sky. The Wavering Light Saint pushed the replica dragon pattern cauldron. The elders of the Wavering Light Holy Land behind him pushed together and poured all their energy into the dragon pattern cauldron. The imitation dragon pattern cauldron kept getting bigger and bigger, crushing the void. The 2 dragons on it seemed to have come alive. Earth-shattering energy poured down in torrents. The Grand Xia Empire. The prince of the Great Xia dynasty also wielded his golden sword. The sky was filled with golden swords, and they slashed down from the sky. Taishan Holy Land. A young man stretched out his palm. In the center of his palm, there were 99 stars revolving around. It was extremely mysterious, as if it was a universe. At this moment, everyone was attacking madly. Furthermore, this time around, those people had all used their most powerful trump cards. Elder Wang, Elder Lu, please protect our disciples. The rest of you follow me and attack. Lin Xian instructed. He did not order everyone to attack. He held back because he was afraid that the people from the 5 Elements Palace would suddenly assassinate him. With the 2 elders guarding, the rest of the young disciples retreated to the back. Lin Xian, the dark red dragon, Xing Tian, Elder Li, and Peacock attacked together. Damned human, go to hell. In front of them, the purple demon king roared. The 8 Dao runes on its body flashed rapidly. The 8 Dao runes flew out and shone brightly, forming a Dao diagram in the sky. It pressed down. The Dao diagram was extremely hazy, but it was like a millstone that could destroy the world. Everything that collided with it turned to dust. Nothing could stop it. The prince of the Great Xia dynasty roared. The golden sword slashed down on the Dao diagram, making a clanging sound. Then, the golden sword was sent flying. On the imitation dragon pattern cauldron, the 2 dragons roared and turned into 2 dragon shadows that rushed over. They clashed with the Dao diagram. But soon, they were also destroyed. Lin Xian's sword qi collided with it and was also sent flying. Not only that, nothing could stop it. Saber light, sword qi, spatial power, sea of fire, wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. In short, all kinds of energy were useless in front of the Dao. Bang! Bang. Everyone was sent flying again. Many people vomited blood. Some of their bodies even cracked. A few unlucky elders were touched by the Tao diagram. Their bodies collapsed and could no longer reassemble. How terrifying! A trace of the Tao diagram's energy was enough to kill a peerless powerhouse. Everyone trembled in fear. Lin Xian also retreated. He frowned. The enemy was so strong. Why didn't these people retreat? On the side, Xing Tian explained, "Young master, it's not that simple. The foundations of the various holy lands were very strong. It was likely that they had many trump cards in their hands that they had yet to use. Not to mention them, Immortal Palace also has many trump cards that we haven't used yet. We haven't used them yet." Lin Xian was surprised. Forget about their Immortal Palace for now. Their Immortal Palace was perfectly preserved. Apart from them, the other weaker ones all withdrew from the battlefield. Therefore, there weren't any casualties for the time being. However, many of the geniuses of the other holy lands had been killed. Were those holy lands still not going to use all their trump cards? It had to be said that these holy lands could really endure. Just as they were discussing, suddenly, a green stream of light tore through the void in the distance. Everywhere it passed, the void shattered. Everyone looked up frantically. Damn it, what kind of power was this? They were all trembling uncontrollably. Even Shin Jingqiu, Murong Qingqing, Yi Wudao, and No Flower, who had top bloodlines, were shocked. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The bronze coffin that the purple fiend crawled out of was broken in half. What was going on? What happened? Everyone was shocked. Why did someone attack the bronze coffin? Could it be that they had found some clues? They were puzzled. The green light flashed in the sky and disappeared. Ugh. The purple fiend king screamed. Damn it! His strength was weakening. The Tao patterns on his body were quickly dimming, as if they would disappear at any time. What was going on? Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Was the purple fiend king going to be killed just by breaking the coffin? Could it be that the coffin was the key? Everyone was stunned. Who was so powerful? Even the powerful array masters in their holy lands didn't notice this weakness. Chapter 25:33. Damn it, you're not human. Everyone followed his gaze, their hearts thumping wildly. Demon Imperial Palace. It's the people from Demon Imperial Palace. Oh my god, it's actually Demon Imperial Palace. Everyone came to a realization. The people from Demon Imperial Palace were half demons, and the blood of the demon race flowed in their bodies. No wonder they could find the other party's flaw. However, who was the one who attacked just now? What was that green light? Was it their trump card? These people didn't know. There was also one thing that they were very puzzled about. These people from Demon Imperial Palace said that this was the ancient tomb of a demon saint the moment they entered. At first, they didn't believe it. Now they had doubts. Could it be that Demon Imperial Palace knew more than them? For a moment, everyone looked at Demon Imperial Palace with unfriendly expressions. After all, no matter how powerful the other party was, it was only a sacred ground. There were many sacred grounds here. If they joined forces, they might be able to take down the other party. Seeing the gazes of the sacred grounds, Huo Tiandu snorted coldly. A purple bead rushed out of his body, emitting a powerful demon qi. The demon qi emitted made the warriors of the sacred grounds frown. Of course, there were also saints who sneered. Wasn't it just a trump card? They had won too. However, soon, these saints were stunned and began to tremble uncontrollably. Beside Huo Tiandu, a beautiful woman walked out. A green light flickered on her body. As soon as the aura of the green light appeared, it seemed to carry a supreme pressure, making people want to kneel down and worship it. Damn it! What kind of aura was this? How could it be so powerful? The expressions of the elders of the sacred grounds also changed drastically, and their faces were filled with fear. Could it be a treasure of a saint? This aura was too terrifying. Moreover, they discovered that it was this green light that directly shattered the bronze coffin earlier. Boom boom boom. While the warriors of the sacred grounds were exclaiming, the purple demon king in front also roared angrily. The Tao patterns on his body finally disappeared completely. His body also slowly shrank and finally returned to normal. The white flames in his eye sockets disappeared. His entire body became a corpse again. That's great. It was broken. When the warriors of the sacred grounds saw this scene, they were pleasantly surprised. The people of Demon Imperial Palace also heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Yen Ryu and were also extremely nervous. To be honest, not to mention those humans, even they didn't know what the cyan light in Yen Ryu's body was. Take the bronze coffin back. Yen Ryu ordered. Huotiandu also coldly shouted. The experts on the Demon King Palace's side all attacked. Not good. Stop them. Although the sacred grounds still didn't know what was inside the coffin, they still didn't know. But when he saw the people from the Demon Imperial Palace make a move, those elders also roared in anger and attacked one after another. For a moment, all kinds of light flashed in the sky, fighting until the sky fell and the earth cracked. The bronze coffin below was once again shattered by this violent energy. The huge coffin was shattered into hundreds of pieces and fell apart. One of the experts from the Wind Dynasty, God, took a look and cried out in alarm. Dao pattern. There were Dao patterns carved on it. What? Dao pattern? Could it be that the Taoist pattern on the Taoist king's body came from the coffin? They had seen how terrifying the Dao pattern was. So now they were frantically attacking. For a moment, everyone was crazily snatching. Lin Xian stretched out his palm, and the azure dragon palm spiraled and whistled. He directly grabbed 3 pieces and dragged them back. Damn it, put them down. An expert from the Nangong family roared, but he was sent flying by Xing Tian's slap. On the other side, Yi Wudao was incomparably powerful and also obtained a few pieces. The Prince of Great Xia, No Flower, and the others also attacked. Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu also obtained a few pieces. In the sky, the pieces of the coffin became fewer and fewer, and everyone fought even more fiercely. At this moment, the sound of metal trembling sounded and instantly spread throughout the surroundings. These people trembled and almost fell from the sky. They stopped fighting and turned their heads to look down in bewilderment. Below, a bronze coffin was rapidly trembling. Not good. Something was going to come out again. Everyone was scared out of their wits. The one that came out previously already terrified them. It killed many of their disciples. If not for the mysterious woman from the Demon Imperial Palace, their losses would probably be even more serious. Hurry up and attack. Shatter that bronze coffin. They now guessed that the bronze coffin was the fatal weakness of these corpses. As long as it could be shattered, the corpses inside would not be able to revive. These sacred land experts attacked and quickly attacked the trembling bronze coffin below. Boom, boom, boom. After a series of attacks, they were dumbfounded. They discovered that the bronze coffin was intact, without a single crack. The people from the Demon Imperial Palace also frowned. Their attacks were also ineffective. Therefore they looked at Yen Ryu. Yen Ryu frowned, and the green light on her body bloomed again. She raised her jade-like hand and was about to attack. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from the bronze coffin below. If you attack again, don't blame me for being ruthless and killing you. Hearing this voice, Yen Ryu frowned. She lowered her hand and did not attack again. Instead, she turned around and said, "Let's go." She directly flew forward. Huotiandu's eyes flickered as he gritted his teeth and roared. Follow her. The people from the Demon Imperial Palace directly left. Although they did not know where the path ahead led to, they did not stay here. Previously, when they heard the cold voice, it was filled with killing intent and thick demonic qi. It was something that they could not resist. They knew that this was also a powerful demon king. It was even more terrifying than the demon king from before. The remaining sacred land warriors were shocked. They did not expect that a voice would come from the bronze coffin before it was opened. Moreover, it directly scared away the people from the Demon Imperial Palace. This phenomenon was even stranger than before. Could it be that the thing inside was even more terrifying? They gritted their teeth and attacked crazily again. Boom! The bronze coffin below trembled. A wave of power swept out like a heavenly blade, slashing in all directions. It collided with the energy. Reckless humans, all of you can go to hell. Not good. Retreat. It was too powerful. In the sky, the power caused the surrounding warriors to tremble. They retreated crazily. They quickly left. Exclamations sounded one after another. These sacred land elders and experts had made a decision. They let the saints leave with the young disciples. These elders and experts would stay here to fight. Go. Yi Wudao shouted coldly and quickly left. Chapter 25:34. Yi Wudao led the young disciples of the Yi family into the sky and flew into the distance. Wavering Light Sacred Land, Dao Yi Sacred Land, Moon Palace, and Taishan Sacred Land. The great sage lands and sects were all like this. Lin Xian was the same. Only Xing Tian remained by Lin Xian's side. The three elders remained behind. Brother Xian, Brother Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also brought people over. They turned into a torrent and quickly rushed into the distance. Boom! As soon as they left, a world-shaking energy came from behind. The young cultivators who were leaving turned back. They saw a sky full of light that tore through heaven and earth. Even though they were so far away, they still felt a wave of fear and trembling. It was too terrifying. These elders had all used their trump cards. It was incomparably terrifying. Ignorant humans, since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. An even colder voice sounded. A black shadow covered heaven and earth, devouring all the light. Immediately after, angry roars sounded. The black shadow continued to devour everything in front of it, and it seemed to be spreading in all directions. Seeing this scene, the young cultivators felt their scalps go numb. They fled as if they had gone mad. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian also led the cultivators of Immortal Palace, Murong Qingqing and Qiuwa. They turned into streams of light and disappeared into the sky. They flew and flew for about half a day. Finally, a light screen appeared in front of them. It was incomparably hazy. The young cultivators who were fleeing all stopped. They looked at the light screen in front of them and frowned. They couldn't pass through it. They were blocked. Damn it! Angry roars rang out one after another. The young cultivators even used their trump cards and charged forward. However, they still couldn't open it. The light screen in front of them flickered with flowing light. There was clearly the power of Tao patterns on it. Perhaps even an invincible king couldn't open it. Damn it, there was no way. What should they do? Did they have to go back? Or wait here for the battle to end? Everyone was discussing. Many of them looked at Yi Wudao, Wavering Light Saint, and the others. They wanted to see what these top geniuses could do. Brother Lin, what do you think? Leaf Dao Denier didn't respond. Instead, he looked over at Lin Xian. A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes and surrounded him. Although the hall was huge, it was enveloped by a light screen. There were Dao runes flickering on the light screen. Obviously, there was nowhere to run. He raised his head and looked at the sky. There was a ceiling high up in the sky. The ceiling was decorated with the sun, moon, and stars. It was like the universe. From the looks of it, it was an extremely terrifying formation. Thinking about it, it would be difficult to break it. The ground was also filled with veined patterns. However, Lin Xian frowned. This time, through his heavenly secret divine eyes, he discovered that there seemed to be a tunnel underground. Attack downwards. Lin Xian pointed down and said in a deep voice, Attack downwards? Everyone was stunned. What kind of joke was this? There were also formation runes below. That's right. Even if they could break through the ground, so what? Since there's no path below, why don't I just attack from above? Many people shook their heads, not believing that Lin Xian was right. However, no flower. Leaf Dao Denier nodded. Fine, we'll attack downwards. We'll help too. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also stepped forward. At the same time, they called for the martial artists of their respective sects to attack together. Damn it! How could Leaf Dao Denier and the others trust that kid? The people of Tai Dynasty, Five Elements Palace, Yinyang Sect, and Tuoba family gnashed their teeth. They didn't have a good relationship with Lin Xian, so naturally, they didn't want to listen to Lin Xian. However, even Leaf Dao Denier and the others were attacking downwards. It was useless for them to resist. Let's see what's down there. The martial artists of 5 Elements Palace, 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor, and Myriad Thunder's Sacred Land snorted. They didn't attack because Lin Xian had killed their holy son. Why would they help him at this time? Leaf Dao Denier glanced at them and said coldly, "If you don't want to fight, then scram. We don't raise trash here." These people were so angry that they vomited blood and trembled. However, there was nothing they could do. The other party was a holy physique. They couldn't beat him. They could only attack together with a dark face. These young disciples were all geniuses, and they had their holy sons and holy daughters to open the way. Damn it, he's too strong. We can't blast it open. These people were shocked. There were so many of them and they were so strong, but they couldn't blast it open. Lin Xian frowned. That's not right. The people of Demon Imperial Palace? Why aren't they here? He looked around and found that there were still many people from the sects who hadn't arrived. It seems that they went in a different direction from us. How about this? Let's lure all of them here and combine their strength to blast it open. But hearing this, Leaf Doudenier raised his palm, and golden light burst out and swept in all directions. Sure enough, the martial artists in other directions saw this scene and turned their heads. That's the Yi family's holy physique. What happened? Is there a battle? No, it seems to be a signal. Let's go over and take a look. Someone exclaimed. The martial artists in other directions flew in the direction of the golden light. Soon, more and more people gathered. The people of Northern Plains are here. The people of Southern Ridge are here too. The people of Demon Imperial Palace are here too. Everyone exclaimed. Sure enough, Hua Tiandu and Yen Ryu led the experts of Demon Imperial Palace and rushed over. Wu Ji Wujin the sky, a squeak sounded, and then a beautiful figure descended from the sky. It's the holy daughter of Yao Guang. Everyone exclaimed as they stared at that beautiful face without blinking. The people of Yao Guang's sacred land heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't see the holy daughter before and thought that she had fallen. Now that they saw her, they were naturally relieved. Isn't that little white? Shen Jingqiu saw a snow-white monkey in the arms of the holy daughter of Yao Guang and immediately exclaimed. Murong Qingqing and Lin Xian also forgot about it. The dark red divine dragon was a while away. Damn, why is this little guy here? The holy daughter of Yao Guang walked forward, wanting to meet up with the holy son of Yao Guang. But at this time, Little White in her arms jumped away and returned to Lin Xian's shoulder, jumping excitedly. What? Everyone was stunned, including the holy daughter of Yao Guang. She turned her head to look at Lin Xian and exclaimed softly, "Little guy, come here." However, Little White ignored her. The holy daughter of Yao Guang took out a few more spirit fruits, wanting to lure it over. The junior shook his head. The holy daughter of Yao Guang frowned, and the faces of those who followed her turned black. This guy wants to leave after eating his fill? How can there be such a good thing? Damn monkey, get over here. A martial artist roared, but the holy daughter of Yao Guang waved her hand to stop him. In the next moment, she walked forward. Sir, can you transfer your little monkey to me? I like it very much. A good show is coming. Everyone was excited. Even the holy daughter of Yao Guang turned her head to look. Lin Xian shook his head and said, I think you are mistaken. Little White is not a pet, he is my partner. Between us, there is no such thing as a transfer of ownership. If he wants to follow you, he will naturally leave me. But now it seems that he prefers to stay with me. Chapter 25-35. Yao Guang Saintess's eyes lit up. Her face was gloomy. The disciples behind her roared. Damn it! This monkey had eaten so many of their treasures along the way. But now he ignored them? This made them vomit blood. They wanted to attack, but they were stopped by Yao Guang Saintess. Since that's the case, I won't take away your love. Yao Guang Saintess turned and left. That's it? Everyone was surprised. Those from 5 Elements Palace and 9 Heavens Holy Land gritted their teeth. They were still hoping that Yao Guang Saintess would fight with them. If that was the case, Yao Guang Saintess and Yao Guang Saintess would be able to kill each other. Of course, this was only their beautiful wish. Yao Guang Saintess wouldn't attack Lin Xian just because of a monkey. Ladies and gentlemen, I have called you all here for an important matter. Yi Wu Dao said in a deep voice. There were Dao runes in all directions. We can't leave. After Brother Lin's investigation, he found that there might be another world underground. So, let's attack the ground together. What? There's a way out underground? The newcomers were discussing animatedly. The martial artists from Demon Imperial Palace also had their eyes lit up. Indeed, they had changed many directions, but they couldn't leave. They also thought of attacking the ceiling, but the array in the sky was even more terrifying. With their strength, they couldn't leave. No one tried to go to the ground. They didn't expect that the most important thing was still on the ground. This time, the number of people was twice as many as before. Everyone joined forces again, and violent power poured out, bombarding wildly for 2 hours. Finally, a crack appeared on the ground. Great, a crack has appeared. Hurry up and attack. Yi Wu Dao roared, and the power in his body erupted. Imitation dragon pattern cauldron, golden sword, gods, Buddhas, terrifying saber light, terrifying sword chi, and dragon roars sounded. The crack on the ground became bigger and bigger. Ding. Lin Xian's ancient dragon abyss sword hit it, and the crack became bigger. Spiderweb-like cracks spread in all directions. The last attack was made by Yen Ruyu. Another green light appeared in her body and slashed down. As soon as the azure light appeared, everyone felt their scalps go numb. Even Lin Xian felt his blood churn within his body. The great dragon sword's soul roared uncontrollably. Leaf Doudinier's blood surged, and everyone looked on in shock. Buzz. The ground beneath their feet completely collapsed, and a huge black hole appeared. Get down. Light blossomed from everyone's bodies. Battle armor appeared, and they all walked down. What is this? After going down, they frowned. Although they had left the vast hall, they found that they had not left the ancient tomb. Below him was still an ancient wall, exuding a desolate aura. Clearly, he had experienced countless years. Let's go and take a look. Many martial artists from the Holy Lands were excited. They took the lead and rushed out. Although they didn't leave the ancient tomb, they had at least left that terrifying bronze coffin. Moreover, this place was so well hidden. Perhaps there were some heavenly treasures. Most importantly, they were concerned about the sage's legacy. Foolish human. Even if there is a sage's inheritance, it belongs to our demon emperor palace. You humans can't cultivate our demon saint's legacy. The people from the demon imperial palace sneered. The powerhouses from the Holy Lands snorted. Whether or not it is the demon saint's legacy is uncertain. Just wait and see. The people from the demon imperial palace snorted. After walking for a while, the faces of the martial artists from the Holy Lands darkened, and they even frowned. Because the passage below was completely different from the one outside. Although it had an ancient aura and the vicissitudes of time. However, the runes here were different from the ones above. After walking for about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, they found that the surrounding walls were all carved with demonic beasts. Each of them had a green face and fangs, and they were strangely shaped and emitted a demonic aura. Damn it, what is this place? Could it be a demonic beast's nest? Why are there so many demonic beast carvings? Many people frowned. The people from the Demon Imperial Palace were excited. These carvings were all demonic beasts of heaven and earth. Ha! As expected, this is our demon saint's tomb. Damn it, could it really be the demon saint's tomb? But what was going on with the situation up there? They were very puzzled. In front of them, another empty cave appeared. There were a total of 12 demonic pillars around it, supporting the entire cave. There were also strange beasts carved on them, as if they would come to life at any time. Let's take a break. The attack just now left me with little strength. Many people complained, and they all stopped here. This place was very spacious, enough for everyone to rest. Therefore, the great sage lands all rested here. Those from the Demon Imperial Palace were the most excited. They circled the 12 pillars and looked carefully. The dark red divine dragon also looked around, as if looking for treasures. The powerhouses of the other holy lands, saints, and saintesses all heaved a sigh of relief. They had finally left the terrifying Big Dipper coffin. Now, they could no longer feel the terrifying pressure brought by the Big Dipper coffin. Damn it, I really don't want to stay here any longer. There's no exit. I want to leave. Some people couldn't take it anymore. After all, they had never experienced such a dangerous thing. Especially the heads of the 99 invincible kings and the Big Dipper coffin, the shock they received was too deep. They were afraid that if they stayed any longer, they would die here. Of course, there were also some who didn't care. Although this place was dangerous, there were many treasures, and many of them had broken through. Under normal circumstances, they would probably need to cultivate for hundreds of years before they could break through. However, in just 1 or 2 months, they directly broke through. How could they let go of such an opportunity? No matter how dangerous it was, they had to try. Cultivation was a path that defied the heavens. In front, a few powerhouses of the Gu family stood up. A middle-aged man formed a seal with his palm. 9 ancient runes appeared on his fingertips and imprinted in the void. Poof! The void was torn open, and a black hole was created that led to the void. What are the people of the Gu family trying to do? The surrounding people also turned their heads in puzzlement. Lin Xian and the others also narrowed their eyes. Soon they were shocked. That was because they discovered that a light image suddenly appeared in the void of the black hole. Why is the image so blurry? Light filling the sky. Where is this? Could this be the place where the battle took place? Sure enough, when they looked carefully, they found that the light image was indeed the scene of their elders fighting the Big Dipper coffin. What method is this? The Gu family is too powerful. It must be a spatial technique. Great, we can see the battle situation. These people were excited. However, after watching for a long time, their expressions did not look good. That was because their elders did not have the upper hand. They were very frightened. So many elders and powerhouses of the Holy Lands had used their trump cards, but they were still unable to suppress a dead body. Chapter 25:36. Needless to say, they were invincible kings. Not necessarily. The reason why the corpses were so powerful was because of the runes on their bodies. Those runes were so mysterious that even invincible kings couldn't control them. Only saints could. That was why the corpses were so powerful. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the screen in the sky. They were watching the battle. Unbeknownst to them, something was happening in another secret chamber not far away from them. This secret chamber was covered in dust. Evidently, it had been here for countless years. In the four corners of the secret chamber, there were 8 statues. These statues were carved in strange shapes, in the shape of 8 demonic beasts. Each of them was fierce and lifelike. Those who didn't know better would think that they were real. Buzz. All of a sudden, the eyes of the 8 demonic beast statues glowed with a green light. Their eyeballs actually swiveled a little. Crack, 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 crack. Then, the bodies of the statues began to shake. Dust fell from their bodies. The statues had come back to life. They could sense the pure bloodline of the monster race. They could sense the aura of humans. Trespassers of the ancient tomb, die. Cold voices came from the 8 statues. If one looked closely, they would see that they were bats. After the dust fell from their bodies, they were blood red, as if they were made of blood. If someone else was here, they would definitely cry out in shock. The 8 blood-red bats were very similar to the legendary creatures of heaven and earth, the blood-winged bat kings. They were also the protectors of this ancient tomb. They were refined by someone using unmatched magical power, and their corpses were planted with Tao patterns. Even if they were dead, they still had to protect the ancient tomb. Now that they sensed the aura of humans, they instantly woke up. Bush, bush, bush. The 8 blood-winged bat kings tore through the void and disappeared from the secret chamber. Outside in the cave, Lin Xian Yi Wudao and the others were all watching the screen in the sky. They were extremely nervous. The battle inside the screen was too intense. So many elders of the sacred land had brought along shocking treasures, but they were locked in a fierce battle with the bronze coffin. In the sky, countless runes emitted mysterious power. Damn it! Who was buried in the bronze coffin? Why was it so powerful? This guy was much stronger than the purple beast king from before. This was only the 6th bronze coffin. He really didn't know what was in the first coffin. These young warriors were discussing animatedly. When they talked about the first bronze coffin, their bodies trembled. However, those holy sons did not think so. They had full confidence in their elders and their sacred grounds. They knew that their elder had many trump cards in his hands, and from the current situation he hadn't used all of them yet. In other words, the current situation was not the most dangerous. As long as their elders used all their trump cards, it should not be a problem to eliminate the 6 bronze coffins. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed throughout the cave. Damn it, what happened? The others quickly turned their heads over, only to see a young disciple lying on the ground, twitching nonstop. His body deflated like a deflated balloon and turned into a human skin. The blood inside was completely gone. Damn it! The people from the Great Development Holy Land shouted furiously because the young disciple who had just died was from their Great Development Holy Land. The others were also shocked. They stood up, no longer looking at the light screen in the sky. Instead, they looked around. Their eyes were like lightning as they scanned the surroundings. Who was it? Come out! Another blood-curdling scream rang out. A warrior from the Taishan Holy Land fell to the ground and turned into a human skin. Damn it! Everyone be careful! The Taishan Holy Sun roared, and 99 stars surrounded his body, instantly covering the surroundings. However, Yi Wudao, the All-Cade Holy Sun, No Flower, and the others all snorted and released their king domains. Lin Xian's sword chi burst out, Murong Qingqing's lotus danced, and Shen Jingqiu's purple aura surrounded her. They were all on high alert. Among them, Seiko Dian and the Taishan Holy Sun quickly checked the corpse that had turned into human skin. Soon they frowned. Their pupils constricted. This was because there were 4 marks on the corpse's neck. They were very thin, and it seemed that someone had bitten the neck and sucked the blood dry. When the others saw this scene, they all gasped. In the next moment, they all turned their heads and stared at the people from the Demon King Palace who were still searching for treasures. Damn you guys, how dare you make a move here? The people from the Demon King Palace felt a great pressure and stopped. They turned their heads and snorted. Stupid humans, how dare you frame us? We didn't do this at all. You want to fight? If you don't like it, then fight. These half-demons from the Demon King Palace had very bad tempers. Nonsense. Who else could it be other than you monsters? We humans don't have such an evil blood-sucking technique like the human chain. Damn it, I said it wasn't us. If you don't like it, then fight. Demonic chi erupted from the bodies of the powerhouses from the Demon King Palace and swept out. Yen Ryu also frowned, and Huatiandu snorted, killing intent surfacing in his eyes. The two sides confronted each other and were about to fight. At this moment, countless runes suddenly lit up around them. Under their feet, in the sky, the same runes flickered. A terrifying force instantly enveloped them. Oh no, it's an array. Hurry up and leave. These people's expressions changed drastically. They turned into rays of light and dodged one after another. However, it was already too late. Many people crashed into the light screen and were bounced back. Damn it. They roared crazily. The entire cave was completely enveloped by a large array. They couldn't escape at all. Moreover, this array was very strange. As soon as it appeared, it emitted a monstrous blood aura that made one's soul tremble. Their blood was about to freeze. Oh no, we've been hit. The saints and saintesses' faces were gloomy. Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. They were indeed careless. This was the ancient tomb of a saint, and it was definitely extremely dangerous. They actually didn't take precautions before. Now that they were trapped by the array, it would probably be very difficult to escape. Damn it, they didn't expect to be trapped in an array just after escaping danger. They didn't know if this was a killing array. Those young martial artists were trembling. The people from the Demon King Palace also shouted coldly. Did you see that? Damn humans. I've said it before, we didn't do it. Huatiandu and Yen Ryu didn't speak. They looked around, their eyes flickering. Ryu, did you notice? The aura of this array is so familiar. Indeed, looking at the runes and the way it was set up, it seemed to be a demon race array. This was indeed the ancient tomb of a demon saint. A demon race array. Chapter 25-39. The martial artists of the Great Sage Land suffered a violent impact. The tornado was even more terrifying than the previous saber light. Quickly block it. Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated the Dragon Sword domain. It roared in the sky and tore apart the surrounding tornadoes. The other saints and saintesses also used their ultimate skills to resist. The 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings moved. As soon as they appeared, they brought with them a powerful storm and a terrifying blood aura. Those array attacks were instantly shattered. Among them, 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings charged towards the human race's holy lands. The other 3 charged towards the Demon Imperial Palace. The faces of the people of the Demon Imperial Palace instantly turned green. One had to know that no matter how powerful they were only a holy land. There were so many holy lands on the other side, but they were only attacked by 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings. Their holy land was attacked by 3 Bloodwing Bat Kings. How could they contend against this? Moreover, these were not ordinary Bloodwing Bat Kings. Any one of them could easily injure a saint-level genius. Sure enough, in an instant, miserable cries came from the Demon Imperial Palace. More than a dozen martial artists of the Demon Imperial Palace were instantly torn apart. A large amount of blood mist filled the air as miserable cries sounded. It was like hell on earth. The other disciples were also affected and vomited blood as they flew backward. In the blink of an eye, the Demon Imperial Palace was severely injured. Damn it. Get lost. Huatiandu's eyes instantly turned red. He activated the purple orb and shot out a piercing light. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. A Bloodwing Bat King was blocked and forced back. But soon, it charged over with a roar. It did not suffer any injuries. Damn it. Huatiandu roared and attacked again, fighting with the Bloodwing Bat King. The other 2 charged towards Yen Ryu. This scene caused everyone's hearts to tremble. Yen Ryu snorted coldly and formed a seal with her palm. Immediately, a green treasure bottle appeared in her hand, and thousands of rays of light shone down, enveloping her body. Boom boom boom. The blood-colored tornado collided with it, making a sonorous sound, but it did not break. This scene made the people of the Demon Imperial Palace heave a sigh of relief. However, they did not relax, because the two Bloodwing Bat Kings had already reached Yen Ryu's side. What's going on? In the distance, the martial practitioners of the Great Sage also cried out in surprise. They were attacked by 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings. In an instant, a great battle broke out. However, the Holy Sons and Holy Daughters used a wisp of their souls to investigate the situation at the Demon Imperial Palace. When they saw the 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings attacking Yen Ryu, they cried out in alarm. From the looks of it, the target of these Bat Kings seemed to be that mysterious woman. What's going on? Just what kind of identity did that Yen Ryu have? How could he alarm 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings? One had to know that they had saint bodies on their side, and each of the great sage's sons and saintesses only had 5 saint bodies. One Yen Ryu had actually attracted 2 of them. Could it be that the other party possessed some kind of unique bloodline? Or perhaps his status in the Demon King Palace was very special? They didn't know. Lin Xian also became nervous when he saw this. Yen Ryu was Zhao Shui. He didn't want anything to happen to her. Damn it! Lin Xian roared. He saw Yen Ryu being sent flying, but fortunately, she didn't seem to be injured. The people of the Demon Imperial Palace went crazy. Among them, a few powerful demon kings roared, "Protect the young master!" They charged at the Bloodwing Bat Kings crazily. Boom! Boom! The battle was very intense. The sky full of attacks collided with the Bloodwing Bat Kings, making sonorous sounds. However, the attacks did not break through their bodies. Impossible! Damn it, could it be that these are invincible demon kings? Those powerhouses screamed because it was too unbelievable. Their attacks were extremely swift and fierce. Even if they were peerless demon kings, they would have been blown up long ago. No, they were not ordinary demon kings. It seemed that they had been refined like the Big Dipper coffin outside. They might also have Dao patterns on their bodies. This was no longer an archfiend. It was more like a guardian of the tomb. Their defense was astonishing, and their combat strength was powerful. They must be careful. Exclamations sounded one after another. As expected, although Lin Xian's side had the advantage in numbers, the young disciples' attacks could not hurt the Bloodwing Bat Kings at all. Even a single Holy Sun could not suppress them. They had to work together to suppress them. This was too strange. Every single thing in this ancient tomb was extremely terrifying. One had to know that these Holy Sons and Holy Daughters were all peerless geniuses who dominated the world. Which one of them did not dominate a region? Now, they could only fight to a draw with a demon king? If this were to spread, no one would believe it. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings were not just attacking alone. When the 5 of them worked together, they formed a strange formation that enveloped everyone. At that moment, Lin Xian and the others began to roar in anger. Lin Xian also knew that this was not everyone's true strength. For example, Yi Wudao, the Alcade Holy Sun, and the others probably still had a lot of trump cards that they had not used. Not to mention them, even he had not used the Holy Sun's hand bone. Black Earth. In the distance, the illusion Holy Sun screamed. One of his arms was torn off and instantly turned into human skin. Among them, a Bloodwing Bat King charged toward him and kept sucking his blood. Damn it, get out of my way. The illusion Holy Sun was so scared that his face turned green. He roared, and his severed arm instantly regrew. A majestic force surged out. It blasted the Bloodwing Bat King away. Phew. The illusion Holy Sun exhaled, his face pale. It was too dangerous. He was almost killed just now. When the other Holy Sons and Holy Daughters saw this scene, their expressions turned grave. The young disciples were scared out of their wits. It was too terrifying. Even a Holy Sun would be killed if he was not careful, let alone them. Oh no, don't get hurt by it. Lin Xian shouted coldly. His soul was super strong, and he instantly realized that there was something wrong with these Bloodwing Bat Kings. Their strength was constantly rising. Damn it, don't let them suck blood. They can increase their combat strength. Lin Xian shouted coldly again. What? Hearing this, everyone sensed it. In the spirit domain, countless dragon-shaped sword energies flew out and slashed towards the sky. Boom boom boom. Countless cracks appeared between heaven and earth. The blood that filled the sky flowed back. The martial artists of the immortal palace cried out in surprise. Too good. They felt as if they had just survived a festival. Seeing this scene, the other saints and saintesses also followed suit. They slashed the void, wanting to stop it. However, almost no one succeeded. They couldn't sever this connection at all. Damn it, how could that kid sever it? Could it be that there was something special about his sword chi? The surrounding saints and saintesses couldn't understand. Chapter 2541. Of course, the other saints and saintesses did not have the great dragon sword soul, but some powerful saints and saintesses had other means. For example, the golden sword, dragon pattern cauldron, only in heaven and earth, and the power of the saint physique could all destroy the divine power. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, after such a long time, it would still be a great crisis for the human race. Perhaps, other than a few saints and saintesses, everyone else would be killed. Damn it! Lin Xian roared and rushed into the sky. His body emitted a powerful light as he waved the ancient dragon abyss sword in all directions. Streaks of sharp sword waves burst out like divine swords, shattering the void. They were saved. Everyone exclaimed as they felt their blood returning to their bodies. In the next moment, they looked at Lin Xian. It was this kid who saved them. At this moment, they had mixed feelings. The saints and saintesses looked at Lin Xian's figure with solemn expressions. His opponent's sword chi was simply too sharp and too bizarre. Lin Xian ignored them. His figure flashed and instantly arrived at the side of the demon imperial palace. With a few slashes, he broke the Bat King's divine power. They were saved. The people of the demon imperial palace also heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Lin Xian with complicated expressions. Yen Ruyu smiled. "Thank you, young master, for your help." She wanted to smile. "Beautiful." Hua Tiandu snorted, but he still said, "Thank you for your help. I will remember this favor." Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the sky, the 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings stopped attacking. They stood in 8 different directions and stared coldly at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a great pressure. It was extremely dangerous to be stared at by so many peerless demon kings. He snorted coldly. The sword chi in his body rushed out and shattered the void, destroying the powerful pressure of the 8 demon kings. Lin Xian stood in the sky and looked in all directions. "Everyone, I think we should work together. Brother Lin, do you have any ideas?" Yi Wudao asked. The other saints and saintesses also looked up. Among them, the 5 Elements Palace, the 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor, and the Tai dynasty were furious, but they did not say anything. This was because the other party's sword technique was very powerful. It was able to destroy that kind of blood-sucking divine ability. To them, this was undoubtedly a life-saving straw. They didn't dare to provoke him now. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as tens of thousands of sword beams radiated from his body. He was like a sword immortal. My companion is an array master. He should be able to find the key to breaking the array. When the time comes, we can attack together and break this array. Then he could leave this place. However, during this period, I ask for everyone's cooperation. Cooperate. Hearing this, the expressions of the people from the Nangong family and the Yinyang sect changed. They remembered what had happened before. Previously, when they were trying to break the 8 trigrams formation in the secret room, they had worked together with the other party. However, at that time, they were not very willing. In the end, they were tortured to death by the other party. The current scene was extremely similar to the one before. This made them gnash their teeth and their faces turn ashen. However, there was nothing they could do. The other party's attainments in formations were far above theirs. "Alright, no problem. We'll listen to you." Leaf Dao Denier nodded. No Flower also made a statement. The Prince of the Great Xia also said that it was fine. Since the top holy princes had said so, the other holy princes and holy maidens didn't dare to have any objections. "Ruffian Dragon, it's up to you." Lin Xian opened up her dragon's word domain. Countless dragon-shaped sword beams surrounded her and cut off the blood-sucking divine ability. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also focused their gazes. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He roared, and the dragon sword domain turned into an azure dragon, enveloping everyone and increasing his speed again. However, the two Bloodwing Bat Kings followed closely behind. In the end, they even directly blocked their path. Not only them, but the others were also affected. For a moment, a great battle broke out. Could fight. With so many of us, I don't believe that we can't kill him. Don't you have a flower protector? Let's set one first. Lin Xian nodded, and the flower protector floated above his head. To be honest, they were not particularly afraid of the two Bloodwing Bat Kings. Lin Xian had many trump cards on his side. There was also the Sage's Hand Bone and the Black Earth. Buzz, buzz, buzz. But in the next moment his face turned green. That was because he discovered that the two Bloodwing Bat Kings had once again created 3 more doppelgangers. Damn it. 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings appeared on their side in an instant. How could they fight? They were not the only ones. Roars could be heard from other places as well. Those Bloodwing Bat Kings that besieged the sacred ground also transformed into clones. More Bloodwing Bat Kings appeared. For a moment, screams were heard. No, why would they transform into clones? Lin Xian supported the Dragon Sword domain and floated the Flower Protector, blocking the void first. They did not act rashly. The 5 Bat Kings were also glaring at him. There must be a reason. There must be a reason. Why did these guys have clones? Damn it, why is this happening? Lin Xian thought quickly. Previously, they were targeting Yen Ryu, and now they were targeting them. Not only that, but the Gu family and the Yi family were also targeted. Could it be a bloodline? Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Bloodline? What bloodline? The dark red dragon was puzzled. Lin Xian said, "That's right, it must be the power of bloodline. We don't know Yen Ryu's identity, but it seems that her identity and status are even more powerful than Huotiandu's. Thinking about it, the power of her bloodline must be very terrifying. That's why these Bloodwing Bat Kings targeted her. Apart from that, the Gu family and the Yi family were also clan of the ancients, and the bloodline of the great emperor flowed in their veins. Especially Yi Wudao, who had a sacred body. That was why they were targeted. No Flower also had a mysterious bloodline. There were also other saints and saintesses. All the major sects and clans with bloodline power were targeted. We have more on our side. Ruffian Dragon, you don't have to say anything. If the monster race knew about your bloodline, they would probably go crazy. Qing Cheng and Qiu also have shocking bloodlines. Peacock also has the bloodline of the Great Bright Lord. That's why we are being targeted. Damn it, that's really the case. The dark red dragon thought for a moment and realized that Lin Xian's guess was right. He had forgotten about this. When he first entered the cave, he caught 100 of these black insects, and he could use his soul to control them. Now that he used it, the 100 black insects flew out. They fought against the severely injured Bloodwing Bat King. The Bloodwing Bat King sent the black insects flying. However, these insects were made of darkness magic crystals and were very sturdy. Their bodies were not inferior to the Bloodwing Bat Kings. Therefore, they could fly out and come back again. For a while, the two sides were locked in a fierce battle. However, not only were these black insects hard, but they could also devour everything. Sure enough, before long, one of the Bloodwing Bat Kings let out a miserable roar. Many holes appeared on its body. They were all bitten by these black insects. Bite its head. Lin Xian controlled these black insects to crawl toward the Bloodwing Bat King's head. He guessed that even if there were Dao patterns, they should be in the head and the heart. Therefore, he split up and attacked the Bloodwing Bat King's head and heart respectively. The Bloodwing Bat King struggled frantically. Its body was overflowing with blood, and mysterious runes flashed. However, these black insects were indeed very strange. They could cut through everything. In the end, they broke the Bloodwing Bat King's heart and brain respectively. They bit the Dao patterns in them. The Bloodwing Bat King screamed. It was no longer invincible. In the end, it was killed and turned into a bloody mist. The The bloody mist drifted in all directions. The crimson dragon god exclaimed. He felt that his dragon blood had been stimulated. This was great. Could it be that this thing could awaken the power of one's bloodline? Thinking of this, he crazily absorbed it. Not only him, but Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, Xingtian, and Peacock also absorbed it. They felt that the power of their bloodline was boiling. For a moment, they looked at the remaining Bloodwing Bat Kings with shining eyes. Lin Xian was also surprised. However, he did not have the power of his bloodline. However, he had the Dragon Sword Soul. He realized that this thing also had a revival effect on the Dragon Sword Soul. The power of the Dragon Sword Soul was stronger than before. Although the improvement was not much, Lin Xian could clearly feel it. Lin Xian was overjoyed. He knew how difficult it was to raise the strength of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Now that there was such an opportunity, how could he let it go? In an instant, everyone attacked again. Using this method, Lin Xian killed all the blood-robed Bat Kings one by one. When he killed the last Bloodwing Bat King, Lin Xian did not kill it. Instead, he bit off the Tao pattern in its brain. Through his heavenly secret divine eyes, he directly controlled the Bloodwing Bat King and planted a beast slave seal in its body. Come here. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He put away all the tables and shelves that held the weapons. These things had been preserved for tens of millions of years without spoiling. They were definitely treasures. The others thought about it and agreed. Thus, they moved everything that could be moved away. The entire palace was empty. Nothing was left. Let's go. Everyone was overjoyed. Lin Xian nodded and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, he frowned and a golden light appeared in his eyes. Buzz. In the next moment, he stretched out his palm. A huge palm of light grabbed forward. Boom. The void trembled and a secret compartment appeared on the ground. Then, a dark red stone platform appeared. It was more than a meter tall and appeared in the palace. The stone platform was about 2 meters in diameter. There were 17 simple treasures placed on it. Chapter 25:45. On the mysterious stone platform, there were a total of 17 items. They were placed casually and emitted a terrifying aura. There were even some sparkling lights. Feeling this aura, everyone's expression changed. Heaven-grade treasures. Another heaven-grade treasures. 17 heaven-grade treasures. These people went crazy. Their eyes were red, and their breathing was rapid. Heavens! Lin Xian exclaimed. As expected, there were still hidden treasures. The others were even more shocked. They did not notice at all. How did the other party find out? The other party's eye technique was too terrifying. Shen Jingqiu said, "Brother Lin Xian, you're too amazing. You can even find them." Lin Xian smiled and pinched Shen Jingqiu's face, then walked up. "Qiu, Qingqing, come, let's split them." After all, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing were his women. Lin Xian did not feel bad about giving them treasures. Of the 17 heaven-grade treasures, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing received 5, and Lin Xian received 7. The two girls were elated, and beautiful smiles hung on their lips. "Brother Lin Xian, you're so good." Shen Jingqiu tiptoed and kissed Lin Xian's face a few times. Murong Qingqing did not do so, but she looked at Lin Xian with eyes full of love. "All right, continue searching. There are so many palaces here. Maybe there are treasures in other places." Lin Yuxuan waved his hand again. At the same time, he gave Peacock, Hu Yidao, and Ghostly a heaven-grade treasure each. The three of them were overjoyed. "Thank you, Hall Master." They were too excited. These people searched quickly. This time, they were full of enthusiasm, and their eyes were red. In a single palace, there were tens of thousands of earth-grade treasures, and even a dozen heaven-grade treasures. How could they let go of such a huge treasure trove? These people searched carefully, not letting go of even a corner. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He felt that this place wasn't simple. Although there were treasures on the surface, the real treasures were probably hidden in the dark. For example, the stone platform from before. If he hadn't done anything, these people probably wouldn't have discovered it. It had to be kept here for who knew how many years before it could be taken by other intruders. He then activated his heavenly secret god eyes, and a pair of golden eyes floated in the sky, looking down. Suddenly, he frowned, and a fierce light appeared in his eyes. He floated into the distance. "Kid, what did you discover?" Seeing this, the dark red divine dragon swayed its tail and followed after him. Lin Xian came to a remote place. This place was very dilapidated and could not even be called a palace. It could only be called a shabby stone house. "Are you sure it's here?" The dark red dragon looked around, then looked at the magnificent palace and frowned. How could there be treasures in such a dilapidated place? Lin Xian was also confused. However, he said that he had indeed used his heavenly fate divine eye to sense a special aura here. It was very unusual. Xiaobai. Lin Xian took Xiaobai out. Xiaobai's stomach was bulging and he burped. He had followed the holy lady and eaten a lot of heavenly treasures along the way. His stomach was bulging. It had been more than a month and he still hadn't refined them. At this moment he was like a small ball. Therefore, he had been hiding in the black earth and sleeping to digest the heavenly treasures that he had eaten. Now that he was caught by Lin Xian, the little guy waved his little claws in protest. Lin Xian knocked on his head helplessly. "Little brat, just how many good things have you eaten from the other party? Your stomach is bulging like a ball now?" Wu Ji Xiaobai's eyes widened and kept moving around with a sneaky look. It seemed that he had benefited a lot from following the holy lady. "All right, hurry up and let me see if there are any treasures here." Xiaobai nodded and began to search with the treasure bowl. Soon, his body swayed and he flew forward. Wu Ji pointed to a piece of land behind him. "You said that the treasure is here?" Lin Xian asked. Xiaobai nodded and waved his little claws. "Let me see what it is." The dark red divine dragon waved his dragon claws and grabbed forward. The ground split open and a deep pit appeared. The dark red divine dragon's claws made a clang. He frowned. There was indeed something that could withstand his attack. It was definitely not an ordinary item. He waved his claws again, and the ground completely split open. It appeared. The dark red divine dragon cried out in surprise. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He found something in the deep pit below. That thing was very thin and folded into a square. There were dense patterns on it. It seemed to be a piece of clothing. However, it was too thin. The dark red divine dragon grabbed it. Sure enough, after the good clothes were unfolded, he found that it was something similar to a Taoist robe. Lin Xian looked at it and found that it was engraved with runes. Its aura was obviously a heaven stage treasure. Moreover, from the looks of it, it should be a medium-grade heaven stage treasure. Not bad. I wonder how effective it is? Lin Xian was somewhat happy. He was not worried about his attack power at all. With the Dragon Sword Soul, his attack power could continue to increase. However, his defense was much weaker. Among the Holy Sons, he was only at the middle level. However, things were different with this Taoist robe. Lin Xian carefully checked the Taoist robe and found that there was nothing wrong with it. Then he put it on. He poured his power into it, and countless flames suddenly appeared on the Taoist robe. It was very strange. The flaming Taoist robe. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "Ruffian dragon, try attacking it." When the dark red divine dragon heard that, it waved its dragon claws, and a sharp ray of light flew out. Lin Xian did not use anything, nor did he flash away. He wanted to see how strong the defense of the Taoist robe was. With a clang, the void split open, and the red ray of light crashed into it, producing a sonorous sound. Lin Xian did not use any power, and the attack was completely neutralized by the flames. So powerful! It's definitely a medium-grade heaven stage Taoist robe. You're rich, kid. The dark red divine dragon was also pleasantly surprised. It did not try to snatch the robe. Its body was very sturdy. Besides, it could not wear the robe. "No, you have to give me something to compensate me." The dark red divine dragon coaxed and pestered Lin Xian to get 2 low-grade heaven stage weapons. Lin Xian would not be stingy with the dark red divine dragon. He had more than 10 heaven stage weapons in his possession. Moreover, he was even happier that he had obtained the flaming Taoist robe. With it, Lin Xian's defense would be more than enough. Do you have the ability to do so? If anyone wants to accompany the 5 Elements Saint and 10,000 Thunder Saint on their way to the Netherworld, I don't mind sending them on their way. Lin Xian did not release any terrifying murderous aura, but his words made everyone's expression change. Especially the holy sons and holy daughters. They all frowned. The person in front of them was not a kind person, nor was he a weakling. He was a terrifying demon king. He was a powerful being who had killed 3 holy sons. Ordinary people were no match for him. A bunch of trash. If you don't dare to fight with me, then scram. Disappear in front of me. Lin Xian shouted coldly. That one sentence was enough to intimidate these people. Come to think of it, these people weren't much. You're courting death. Kid, don't be too arrogant. Do you really think that no one can deal with you? That's right. Even if the 5 Elements Saint and the others are holy sons, they are only average among us. There are many holy sons and holy daughters who are more powerful than them. The Yin-Yang Saint's voice was cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Is that so? Then have you surpassed them? Lin Xian stepped forward. Sword chi erupted from his body, forming a terrifying sword chi storm. Are you trying to stand up for the 5 Elements Saint and the others? Or are you trying to prove that you are more powerful than them? But no matter which one it is, go ahead. I'll take it. You're courting death. The Yin-Yang Saint was enraged. His opponent was so aggressive that he was about to explode. His Yin-Yang sect was an unparalleled sect in Middle Ground, and he, the Yin-Yang Saint, was an outstanding genius. Those princes and princesses had to be extremely respectful when they saw him. But now, he was actually being looked down upon. Moreover, this was in front of all the young prodigies in the entire world. If he backed down now, he would probably lose all his face and never be able to raise his head again. Kid, I'll let you know the price of provoking me. The Yin-Yang Saint revealed a ferocious expression. Yin and Yang Qi erupted from his eyes and body. A huge hand that covered the sky slammed down. This hand was as black as ink. It was like a demonic mountain that mercilessly pressed down from the sky. With a loud boom, the entire space exploded. The surrounding light also dimmed. That terrifying power made the cultivators who were looking for treasures in the distance almost kneel on the ground. It was too terrifying. The Yin-Yang Saint was indeed very powerful. It seemed that he was more powerful than the 5 Elements Saint and Wan Lei Xingzi. Lin Xian snorted. If the other party really dared to attack, then don't blame him for being merciless. He used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and moved in the sky. Every step he took caused the entire space to tremble violently. Countless large black cracks spread out from under his feet in all directions. The sword chi on his body pierced through everything. Why don't you give us a response? Who do you intend to sell this ancient Taoist robe to? As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding experts who had made a bid attacked together. Their attacks were very sudden, and they were decisive in their attacks. All sorts of great mystiques and killing moves instantly shot towards Lin Xian. The sky was covered, and the void in front of him was instantly blasted apart. Boom boom boom. The violent energy made people tremble, and many people fell to the ground. Not good. Yi Wudao, no flower, and the others cried out in alarm. In the distance, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others cried out in alarm. The warriors of the immortal palace shouted crazily. Palace master. They didn't expect these people to be so despicable. So many people attacked together, and it was a sneak attack. It's over. That kid is dead for sure. With so many powerful saints attacking, even a peerless almighty would be blasted to pieces. That was for sure. Let him be arrogant again. This time, let's see how he dies. In the distance, the dark red dragon, Xing Tian, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others quickly flew over. No Flower and Yi Wudao also wanted to attack. However, the twin kings, the crown prince, the Yin Yang saint, and the others sneered. They joined hands, and the two sides confronted each other. Damn it, get out of the way. How dare you attack Brother Xian? The dark red dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others roared angrily. Their bodies were filled with biting cold killing intent. Humph, you want to save him? Stop dreaming. Today is the day this kid dies. The Yin Yang saint sneered. The crown prince's expression was even more ferocious. He dared to go against the Tai dynasty. It's already a miracle that he's still alive. Do you think he can still live? How dare he kill my saint? He deserves to die. That's right. It's too easy to kill him. The people of the 5 Elements Palace, the 1,000 Thunder Sacred Ground, and the 9 Firmaments Saint Emperor also sneered. They had finally avenged their saint. However, amidst the laughter, a cold voice sounded. So many people attacked together. You are indeed despicable and shameless. However, do you think you can hurt me like this? What a joke. Ignorant. This voice floated clearly into everyone's ears. What? The eyelids of those who attacked were twitching wildly. The surrounding people were also stunned. They all turned their heads to look. A figure appeared in the void in the distance. Was it Lin Xian? His ancient Taoist robe fluttered in the wind. He didn't look injured at all. He wasn't injured? That's impossible. The twin kings of the middle ground were shocked. The Yin Yang saint, the crown prince, and the crown prince were also crazed. Even if it was a heaven-grade treasure robe, it couldn't withstand the joint attack of so many people. Indeed, they were crazy. How could Lin Xian resist them? They didn't know that the moment they attacked, Lin Xian had already used the teleportation Black Jade platform to break through the void and teleport out. He didn't receive any energy impact at all. Humph, you're courting death. How dare you attack me together? Get ready. Kneel down obediently and accept your death. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He wouldn't spare any of them. Lin Xian's body swayed as he charged forward. His target was the crown prince of the Tai dynasty. The surrounding people were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. As soon as he was out of danger, he launched a strong counterattack. The chosen jumped in fright, and the first prince's pupils constricted. However, he soon revealed a sinister smile. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard. Then Lin Xian was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in the air and stabilized his body. The ancient Taoist robe on his body burned fiercely, neutralizing most of the power. What happened? That kid was sent flying. And he was injured? Heavens, I'm not dreaming, am I? When did the crown prince become so powerful? His strength has already surpassed that of a saint. Exclamations of surprise were heard. The dark red divine dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others were also nervous again. Originally, they were relieved that Lin Xian had escaped, but now, they were nervous again. Damn it, who the hell is he? How can the crown prince be so powerful? Could it be that he swallowed some kind of pill? Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the Alcade Saint were also focused. They didn't understand what had happened. However, in the next moment, they were stunned. With so many saints joining forces, they blocked the attacks of Xing Tian and the others for a while. Boom, 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 boom. Then, a scream was heard. A figure was sent flying, crashing through the void. What? Those who were watching the battle from afar were stunned. That was because they realized that the person who flew backward was not Lin Xian, but the imperial family elder. How was that possible? How could the imperial family elder fly backward? He was a late-stage 8-star expert, and he was invincible. Everyone was stunned. Even the Yin-Yang Saint, the Twin Kings, and the Crown Prince did not attack. They retreated frantically and turned their heads to look behind them. The imperial dynasty's martial artists screamed even louder. Xing Tian and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Although they did not know what had happened, it seemed that Lin Xian should be fine. Brother Xian! Brother Lin Xian! Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also shouted softly. In front of them, the light that filled the sky disappeared. Lin Xian stood in the void, unharmed. In front of him stood a blood-red figure, exuding a terrifying aura. What is that? Everyone looked over and was so frightened that their scalps went numb. Bat King! Damn it, it was actually Bat King. Everyone went crazy. They quickly retreated, their faces full of horror. Even Yi Wudao, the Alcade Saint, No Flower, and the others were facing a formidable enemy. It couldn't be helped. Bat King had left a deep impression on them. Thinking back, how much effort had they expended and how many trump cards had they used before they were able to kill him? But they did not expect him to appear again. For a moment, everyone was in danger. However, Murong Qingqing and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Because they knew what was going on. But the others screamed, "That's not right. Why is Bat King standing there and not attacking that kid? Damn it, why does it look like he's protecting that kid?" When this voice came out, everyone's eyes popped out. How was this possible? Bat King was such a terrifying tomb guardian. He did not even care about the people of Demon Imperial Palace and killed them mercilessly. How could he protect a human kid? Everyone could not believe it. In the distance, the people of Demon Imperial Palace were also stunned when they saw this scene. Impossible. How did this kid do it? The powerhouses of Demon Imperial Palace were shocked. Huo Tiandu's face was gloomy. Yenru, however, narrowed her eyes. Just now, even she wanted to lend a hand and help. Who would have thought that the other party would turn the tables so quickly? But soon, Yenryu's lips curled into a smile. An angry roar rang out, and the endless void shattered. An old figure quickly charged over. He carried a murderous aura that filled the sky, as if he was a peerless demon. Damn kid! This figure was naturally the Imperial Family Grand Elder. He had just been sent flying by a huge force. He was injured and spat out blood. But what was even more shocking was his soul. He was about to go crazy. How could the other party send him flying? Could it be that the other party still had some shocking trump card? Or was there a hidden peerless expert on Immortal Palace's side? When he flew nearby, he was stunned. He realized that his guess was right. It was indeed not Lin Xian who did it, but it was not an expert from Immortal Palace either. It was Bat King. Bat King. The Imperial Family Grand Elder's body trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Not long ago, they had been hunted down by the Bat King. They had spent a great deal of effort to kill him. He pulled out a yin-yang blade and roared crazily. Sure enough, the others also responded. Among them, the people of the 5 Elements Palace, the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Land, and the 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor stood out without hesitation. The people of the Nangong family and the Tuoba family also had sinister smiles on their faces. The twin kings of Zhongzhou stared at Lin Xian like lightning. Pumph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Xing Tian, the dark red dragon, and Murong Qingqing also stepped out with cold expressions. Extremely terrifying auras surged from their bodies. Do you want to fight? Come, 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 Grandpa Dragon will teach you how to behave. The dark red dragon roared, and countless immortal palaces flew over from the distance. In addition, the people of the Purple Dawn Sacred Land and the Jade Lake Sacred Land also flew over. They stared ahead angrily. Previously, when they cooperated with Lin Xian and the others, they were very happy and obtained many treasures. Sure enough, he was strong enough, reaching the acme of perfection, unmistakable even to gods and ghosts. But it's a pity that you're useless. You can't fully display the power of the yin and yang power. So, you can't do anything to me. A cold voice came from the terrifying light, and everyone's expression changed. Chapter 25:52. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. The other party was looking down on him. He could not tolerate it. He was the saint. He was usually high and mighty. When had he ever been looked down on like this? 1 against 1, 7%, damn it, I will definitely kill you. I'll let you know how much harm Miley gave I #8 you gave V _. The other party acknowledged the yin-yang sect's strength but did not acknowledge his strength. He was completely mad. The yin-yang power in his body exploded rapidly. The yin-yang blade became even more terrifying. The power of life and death tore the void apart, forming a heaven and a hell that floated in the sky. In heaven, Yu City wanted to tell everyone. They were extremely white and had wings on their backs. Their bodies shone brightly, and they had the most serene smiles on their faces. Their eyes were pure. Behind them were countless palaces surrounded by all kinds of rare beasts. It was like a paradise on earth. This was the world's best pure land. The space below kept tumbling. It was pitch black and filled with the power of death. It formed 18 levels of hell. Every floor was surrounded by extremely terrifying evil spirits, and there were no vengeful spirits. One look at it would make one's scalp tingle and one's body tremble. It was impossible to resist. The yin-yang power completely enveloped Lin Xian, trying to tear him in half. Lin Xian felt the impact. He snorted, and his flame blade burst into flames. Endless flames surrounded him, resisting this terrifying power. However, this power was too strange. Even though the Flame Taoist robe was a medium-grade heaven-class artifact, it could not completely block the yin-yang power. Kid, stop struggling. You can't resist the yin-yang power at all. The yin-yang saint stood in the sky and looked down. At this moment, he was like the divine king who controlled time. His cold and emotionless eyes stared at Lin Xian. Can't resist? You think too highly of yourself. Lin Xian sneered. If it was the yin-yang sect's sect leader, I might not be able to resist. But you are not qualified. Today, I will destroy your heaven and hell. Lin Xian roared. Sword light exploded from his body and slashed in all directions. Dream on. You're underestimating the power of yin and yang. Today, you will definitely die. The yin-yang saint revealed a look of disdain. He did not think that Yi Futian could escape from his ultimate move. He had already used this god to kill many powerful kings. Among them were many elders and peerless geniuses. Although the other party was strong, in the face of his sure kill ability, he still couldn't resist. Lin Xian didn't say anything. With a cold snort, the great dragon sword soul in his body erupted. The sharp sword light on his body grew brighter and brighter, as if it was going to break through the clouds. With a roar, a dragon-shaped sword shadow soared into the sky, transforming into a huge dragon bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws as it charged towards heaven in the sky. The cries of dragons and swords reverberated in all directions, tearing the void apart. Many of the weaker martial artists in the surroundings were smashed into pieces, causing them to lie flat on the ground. Even the other inceptive sages, experts, and elders who were engaged in battle also turned their heads to look at Zhang Xian in horror. Heavens! This brat sword skill was really too terrifying. They were incomparably shocked, but at the same time, they rejoiced. That was because they weren't the ones fighting the other party. With this thought, these peerless geniuses were all stunned. They had never had such fearful thoughts about anyone before. But now they actually felt fear towards a young man. Boom! Boom! Intense collisions sounded in front of them. The huge dragon shadow charged towards heaven. Its huge body crashed into those angels and immortal palaces, instantly erupting with a fierce light. The surrounding space collapsed rapidly, and black holes appeared one after another. No one could see what was happening inside. The 18 faces of the devils in the 18 levels of hell revealed greedy expressions. They had never encountered such a powerful force of life before. Such powerful force. They devoured crazily like beggars who had been hungry for a long time and had once again found delicious food. Indeed, to them, the great dragon sword soul was delicious food that could make up for their greed. But after absorbing for a while, the 18 ghost faces widened their eyes in shock. Damn it, stop. Enough. They were full. They could not take it anymore. Although their yin energy could devour everything, there was a limit to it. After all, they were summoned by the yin-yang saint, not the yin-yang sect leader. No matter how strong the yin-yang saint was, he was only a prodigy of the younger generation. Therefore, the power they could devour was also very limited. But now they had devoured enough life force and power. However, the life force and power above them continued to surge. They could not devour it at all. But as the element of the power of death, they could not stop it. Moreover, the yin-yang saint had also gone crazy and was using it recklessly. Therefore, the 18 faces expanded more and more. The entire 18 levels of hell also swelled up as if they had become balloons. Whoosh 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 boom. Finally, when it reached its limit, there was an earth-shattering boom. The 18 layers of hell exploded and shattered into pieces. The evil demon's face inside was instantly turned into ashes. This force was too terrifying. After all, the 18 levels of hell formed by the power of death were already extremely powerful. Moreover, they had also absorbed the endless power of the great dragon sword soul. Therefore, this explosion was extremely terrifying. A huge crack appeared in the sky and spread in all directions. Heaven and earth shook. Everyone was pushed back. The weaker ones spat out mouthfuls of blood and fainted. The stronger ones also activated their king's domains to defend themselves. The entire palace shook. Heaven and earth shook as if it was about to be destroyed. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that the brat fought back? Impossible. That brat could not destroy the 18 levels of hell at all. Could it be that he had been devoured and refined? Screams rang out. However, the yin-yang saint spat out blood and flew back. This time, he suffered a very serious backlash. 3 cracks appeared on his body and almost split his body into pieces. His face had become incomparably pale, without a trace of blood, and even his eyes had dimmed. He had no choice. His ultimate technique had been destroyed. Naturally, he was severely injured. Seeing this, the yin-yang sect members screamed. They flew out crazily and caught the yin-yang saint. They consumed all kinds of heavenly treasures without any regard for their lives. What happened? What happened? Why was the saint injured? Oh my God, could it be that the brat fought back? Damn it, could it be that the brat used the power of a saint? Impossible. Screams and cries rang out one after another. They really couldn't understand what was going on. The Tai dynasty, the middle ground twin kings, the 5 elements palace, and the 10,000 thunder sacred ground were all stunned. They were also very surprised. Their faces instantly became extremely ferocious. They approached the yin-yang saint and quickly asked, "Brother Yin-yang, what happened? Could it be that you failed? That brat is already so powerful?" Screams rang out. Chapter 2554. Impossible. I don't believe it. How could he have broken through my ultimate divine power? The yin-yang saint went crazy. He saw heaven being destroyed with his own eyes. But why was hell also destroyed? How did he do it? He didn't know because the black hole had completely isolated everything. He didn't see it at all, nor did his soul capture it. He wasn't the only one. The others were the same. Is your ultimate divine power that powerful? You want to kill me? You're overestimating yourself. A cold voice was heard. It was like a sharp sword that cut through the void. The sky full of light was mercilessly torn apart, and then a figure walked out. He was surrounded by sword halos, and a dragon shadow appeared under his feet. It was like a peerless immortal light that made people tremble. Damn it, it's that kid. He's not injured at all. How is that possible? Everyone went crazy because they realized that the aura on their bodies didn't weaken. Instead, it became even more violent than before. They didn't know that after the 18 levels of hell exploded, the power of the divine power was released. The absorbed power of the great dragon sword soul was completely released. Not only that, after being refined in the 18 levels of hell, the power became purer than before. Therefore, the power of the great dragon sword soul increased. This made Lin Xian very happy. He didn't expect that a battle could increase the power of the great dragon sword soul. This was really an unexpected surprise. So when he came out, he looked at the Yin Yang Saint and smiled. To be honest, I really have to thank you. If it weren't for you, my strength wouldn't have increased again. So don't worry, I'll give you a quick death later. Hearing this, the Yin Yang sect martial artists trembled. Their faces were full of fear. The Yin Yang Saint was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. Damn kid, I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you. He was really angry. The next moment, he waved his hand, and an ancient drum appeared in his hand. The drum was white on one side and black on the other. It was very strange. This was a secret treasure of his called the Yin Yang drum. Once the drum sounded, it could instantly kill a strong enemy. Kid, go to hell. The Yin Yang Saint roared. He waved his hand and was about to use the Yin Yang drum. However, he didn't have the chance. A piercingly cold sword light flew out and instantly chopped off his arm. The Yin Yang Saint had just grabbed the Yin Yang drum when his arm broke. Blood splattered everywhere, dyeing the Yin Yang drum and the void red. The Yin Yang Saint screamed and flew backward. He covered his wound and kept rolling in the air. The others sucked in a breath of cold air as their scalps went numb. Yin and Yang Qi flowed around the Yin Yang Saint's body. Instantly, his severed arm grew back. He kept gasping for breath, and his face was filled with malevolence. He wanted to attack again. However, he discovered that the Yin Yang Valley was enveloped by countless sword lights. For a moment, it was hard for him to break free. As for him, he was once again sent flying by a sword light. The Yin Yang Saint still wanted to use his trump card, but Lin Xian did not give him the chance. Sword after sword, he swung out in succession. For a time, countless sword lights crisscrossed, forming a sea of swords that enveloped the area. The Yin Yang Saint was forced to retreat continuously. He had no chance to attack again. The armor on his body shattered, and the Yin and Yang energies grew dim. His body split apart, and an arm was hacked off. Not only that, but the sword strike that followed was even more devastating, directly splitting him into two halves. Half of his body was completely shattered by the sword light. Buzz. The other half of the Yin Yang Saint's body rushed out. Countless rays of light formed a Yin Yang shield that enveloped him and brought him back. Stay here. 5-element sword. 5 elements as one. Lin Xian swung his ancient sword, and the 5 elements sword danced in the sky. They quickly combined to form an even sharper divine sword shadow that directly shattered the Yin Yang escape. It even cut the Yin Yang Saint's remaining half of his body into two. Boom! Blood mist exploded. It was a tragic sight. The saint! The Yin Yang sect members screamed. They looked at this scene with despair. Could it be that their holy son had also been killed? The others were also extremely shocked. Those peerless prodigies and powerful cultivators were extremely terrified. Could it be that another saint had died? Boom! Just as everyone was shocked, a figure appeared in the void in the distance. It was the Yin Yang Saint. At this moment, his face was as pale as paper, without a trace of blood. He looked extremely weak. Boom! With an earth-shattering sound, the Yin Yang drum shattered the sword light that filled the sky. It arrived around the Yin Yang Saint and completely enveloped him. He was not killed. The surrounding people exclaimed. However, the Yin Yang sect martial artists cried out crazily. They were too excited. Their holy son had not been killed, which made them completely relieved. Lin Xian frowned. That was because he was very surprised by this scene. The other party was actually able to survive after such a fierce attack. It was really surprising. Yin Yang Talisman of Life and Death. Yi Wudao said solemnly. Hearing this, many martial artists were puzzled. However, the eyelids of the powerful saints twitched violently. Yin-Yang Talisman of Life and Death. Damn it, it's actually that thing. They did not expect the Yin-Yang sect to be so cautious this time. Yes, the Yin-Yang saint was really lucky. He actually obtained the Yin-Yang Talisman of Life and Death. It seemed that his life was saved this time. What was the Yin-Yang Talisman of Life and Death? Lin Xian frowned. It seemed to be a very terrifying thing. Otherwise, Yi Wudao and the other saints would not be so shocked. Behind him, Xing Tian quickly transmitted his voice. Young master, the Yin-Yang Life and Death Talisman is a very terrifying talisman. It could have been refined by a supreme king or even a saint. It is an exceptional mystique of the Yin-Yang sect. It was not an offensive mystique, but a life-saving one. After being refined, it would be placed in the Yin-Yang saint's body. At a critical moment, it would come out and replace the original body. This was equivalent to having an extra chance of survival. Previously, the Yin-Yang saint had been able to escape the sword light that filled the sky. He must have activated the Yin-Yang Life and Death Talisman. There was such a magical thing. After hearing this, Lin Xian was very envious. To be able to replace one death. This was an extremely precious item. After all, using this item was equivalent to having a second life. One more life than others. He had to admit that the Yin-Yang saint was really lucky to have such an item on him. Damn brat, I will not let you off. The Yin-Yang saint trembled with anger. He did not expect the other party to make him use the Yin-Yang Life and Death Talisman. This was indeed planted in his body by the Yin-Yang sect leader. It was equivalent to having a second life. However, he could not use it on his own. It could only take effect automatically when he was threatened with death. That was why he was still alive. However, this item was extremely rare. It was a treasure of heaven and earth. He did not want to waste it like this. He had originally thought that he would use the Yin-Yang Life and Death Talisman to save his life when he encountered extreme danger in the ancient tomb. But now, he had used it in advance. Moreover, he had fallen at the hands of a young martial artist like him. The Yin-Yang Life and Death Talisman was indeed a good item. Do you have any more on you? Now, with the previous experience, the twin kings of the central state would definitely defend their soul power. Without the soul power, that kid would definitely not be a match for the twin kings of the Central State. Indeed, I think so too. Discussions broke out. In this battle, they were certain that the twin kings of the Central State would win. This was because the other party's reputation in the Central State was simply too strong. Even people like Yi Wudao and the prince of the Great Xia dynasty did not think that they could win. Not to mention Lin Xian. On the other side, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as a disdainful smile appeared on his face. I was wondering who it was. So it's you, the two-headed monster. What, was the lesson I taught you last time not enough? You still dare to cause trouble? Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? If you know what's good for you, scram and disappear from my sight. Otherwise, I'll kill you. At the end of his words, a biting cold killing intent rang out between heaven and earth. It was like a peerless sword light that swept across the world. How terrifying! This Lin Xian was too arrogant. He dared to provoke the twin kings of the Central State. Just wait, he will lose without a doubt. Discussions broke out. However, the dark red dragon and the others sneered. Two-headed monster, go to hell. You are not a match for Brother Lin Xian. Brother Xian, defeat him. You can go to hell for me. The twin kings of the Central State went crazy. Their strength suddenly erupted. Last time, he had indeed suffered a loss at the hands of the other party. Therefore, this time he must return the favor. He wanted to kill the other party in front of everyone to prove his strength. Boom. On behalf of the gods, I punish you. The virtuous one's face was merciful. Golden light overflowed from his body, making him look like a Buddha. On the other side, the evil one's black hair danced wildly. Demonic chi surged from his body, making him look like a peerless demon king. Two terrifying auras burst out, sweeping across the world and shattering the surrounding void. The spectators frantically retreated, distancing themselves. It was too terrifying. It was much more powerful than the Yin-Yang Saint's power. It was undeniable that it made people tremble. At this moment, Yi Wudao, No Flower, the Alcade Saint, and the others all had grave expressions. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu were also worried. Although they had mocked Lin Xian before, they were still worried for him after sensing the power. Brother Lin Xian, are you all right? Shen Jingqiu looked worried. However, the dark red dragon laughed. Don't worry, that kid won't lose so easily. As expected, Lin Xian roared. Sword chi erupted from his body. Sword waves spread out in all directions with him as the center. It collided with the golden light that filled the sky and the terrifying demonic chi. The three forces collided in the air, tearing the void apart. Hundreds of large cracks appeared. Each of them was like a huge canyon, spreading across the sky. It was extremely ferocious. The surrounding martial artists were horrified. Just the collision of their auras had already caused such a terrifying scene. They wondered what would happen when the two of them fought. It would probably be an earth-shattering battle. Fortunately, this was the tomb of a saint. Even if they fought until the heavens fell and the earth cracked, it was still fine. Even if it was earth-shattering, the saint's tomb would not shatter. Hence, they just had to keep a safe distance. Buzz. After the three forces collided, Lin Xian made his move. Since the other party was courting death, he would fulfill his wish. The chaotic Heaven Destroyer sword erupted with a terrifying sword light that swept across the world. The Zhongzhou twin kings also roared. The virtuous one wielded the heavenly Dharma wheel, while the evil one wielded the death scythe. The two of them charged out together. Not only that, but a huge square seal formed above their heads, radiating thousands of rays of light. Chapter 2556. Brat, we've already protected our souls with our previous experience. You won't be able to break our soul protection. Let's see what you can do without your soul attack. The Zhongzhou twin kings laughed sinisterly as they quickly rushed over. Sure enough, when the surrounding people saw this scene, they cried out in alarm. How, without the soul attack, this brat's strength would be greatly reduced. He wouldn't be a match for the Zhongzhou twin kings. This was for sure. Just wait and see. This time, he's definitely dead. The surrounding people sneered. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The other party was too naive. Did they really think that his strength would be greatly reduced without his soul power? What a joke! His soul power was only his trump card. His true strength wasn't something these people could imagine. In the next moment he waved his ancient sword. 3 runes unraveled, and a shocking sword light flashed out. Boom! Today's collision sounded. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The terrifying power shattered everything in all directions. It even blasted the Zhongzhou twin kings away. What? The Zhongzhou twin kings were blasted away. How was this possible? Everyone was stunned. This was completely different from what they had expected. In their opinion, without his soul power, Lin Xian wouldn't be a match for the twin kings at all. But now, the other party was still incomparably strong. He directly blasted the Zhongzhou twin kings away. The twin kings of Central State were also stunned. Their minds went blank. They retreated for a long time before they stopped. Damn it, how could this brat be so strong? Brother, don't be careless. This brat must have obtained some opportunity in this ancient tomb that allowed his cultivation to increase. That's why he could erupt with such power, right? The virtuous one said in a deep voice. The evil child was able to move the demonic energy that filled the sky. He snorted coldly. Damn it, this brat's luck was really good. He actually broke through. But so what? Did he really think that we didn't have any opportunities? Today we'll let him see how powerful we are. The Zhongzhou twin kings smiled. They didn't attack again. Instead, they stopped in midair. Soon, light flickered on their bodies. They took out something from their storage rings. It was an array disc with words carved on a stone. It was abnormally old and covered with cracks. 1/3 of the edges had even disappeared. Obviously, this was not a complete thing. However, the Central Province's twin kings were extremely cautious and excited as they held the treasure in their hands. From the looks of it, the value of this stone plate was beyond their imagination. Brat, I'll show you our fortuitous encounter. The two of them grinned and waved their palms, pouring their power into the stone plate. Suddenly, the stone plate trembled, and the patterns on it lit up quickly. It was very mysterious. One rune after another floated out and rotated above them. An earth-shattering voice rang out as a tall figure walked out from the runes that filled the sky. It was a stone golem. It was 2 meters tall, and its body was filled with the texture of rocks. However, it was full of cracks, and 1/3 of it had even disappeared. Clearly, the degree of damage was the same as that of the stone plate. This stone man was summoned by the stone plate. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. What was that? It sounded like the Zhongzhou twin kings had obtained a treasure from the saint's tomb. But what was the use of this stone man? Tech? Or were they puppets? There was a lot of discussion, but soon they found out. The stone man should be a kind of attacking puppet. In the sky, the tall stone man's body swayed and directly smashed through the void, instantly arriving in front of Lin Xian. Boom! The large stone hand slapped out, forming terrifying black holes one after another, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body swayed, and he instantly dodged. At the same time, he slashed the stone man with his sword. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out, and sparks flew. However, the stone man was not damaged at all. He only took a few steps back, roared again, and charged forward. What a strong defense! Everyone exclaimed. They had seen how terrifying Lin Xian's sword technique was. He had directly split the yin-yang saint in half with one slash. Even a top-notch saint would have a headache if he saw such sword chi. However, the stone man in front of them. He actually took a hit from the sword without being injured at all. This was really beyond everyone's expectations. Treasure, this was definitely an earth-shattering treasure. This defensive power was even more terrifying than a heaven-grade treasure. No wonder the middle ground twin kings were so excited earlier. They had definitely struck gold. Their luck was too good to be able to find such a treasure in the saint's tomb. Exclamations rang out. Obviously, the stone man's defense was indeed beyond their expectations. Lin Xian also frowned, and his face became gloomy. What a terrifying defensive power. He knew his own sword technique best. Even a peerless almighty would not dare to take a hit from his sword. However, the stone man withstood it. No wonder the middle ground twin kings were so confident. Kid, did you see that? In front of our fortuitous opportunity. Your fortuitous opportunity is nothing at all. In terms of talent, you are no match for us. In terms of fortuitous opportunity, you are no match for us. Therefore, you can die in peace. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. However, you are too confident. The fortuitous opportunity you are so proud of is nothing at all in front of me. Stubborn fellow, who do you think you are? The stone man's defense is far beyond your imagination. You can't break it at all. The twin kings snorted coldly. Their eyes were filled with disdain because they had tested it before. Even they could not break it. They could only kill it if they used their super trump cards. Therefore, they did not believe that the other party could break it so easily. Lin Xian did not say anything. Instead, he stretched out his hand and grabbed a few black bugs. Go, it's time to show your strength. Lin Xian grabbed 5 bugs and threw them out. These bugs danced in the sky and rushed toward the stone man. In an instant, they landed on the honest man. What were those things? The surrounding people were stunned at first. How many bugs did the other party take out? What kind of joke was that? Was the other party an idiot? How could a few bugs kill such a terrifying stone man? They did not believe it at all. The middle ground twin kings also sneered disdainfully. Kid, it seems that you are really at the end of your rope. In that case, let me finish you off. They controlled the stone plate again and made the stone man attack crazily. However, very soon, the stone men stopped in midair. It was because a small stone had fallen from their bodies. Although it was very small, it still attracted everyone's attention. Especially the middle ground twin kings, their pupils constricted. Damn it, what was going on? Something actually fell down? The evil son was shocked. The virtuous son said, Brother, don't worry, it must be something else. How could the stone man be damaged? That was true. The evil son recovered his expression and snorted coldly again. However, not long after, a few more small stones fell. Moreover, the stone man in front of him slowed down. In fact, a crack appeared on his body. A crack that should not have appeared. Damn it, the stone man was injured. This time, it wasn't just the twin kings. The other chosen powerhouses had also witnessed this scene. They were stunned. What was going on? Such a powerful stone man and peerless sword chi could not break it. At this moment, it was actually damaged? Damn it, it had something to do with that bug. Chapter 2557. Damn it, aren't those black bugs similar to the metal-devouring bugs? Some powerhouses exclaimed. What? Are you talking about the bugs that were created with the dark night gold in the cave? The others also came back to their senses. They looked carefully and exclaimed in surprise. Damn it, it's really them. They thought that they looked familiar, but they did not think that way. That was because they had suppressed some of those bugs in their sacred grounds. However, they did not dare to use them. Those bugs contained the will of the saints, which was extremely terrifying. They did not dare to use them now. They could only use them after the elders of their sacred grounds refined them. But now, the other party had taken out a few black bugs. Was he not afraid that the will of the saints would leak and cause some unforeseen events? No, damn it, the stone golem had blasted those bugs away many times. Those bugs all flew back to attack the stone golem. That shouldn't be. Those bugs attacked indiscriminately. Why are they only attacking the stone golem this time? Just as they were feeling puzzled, the stone golem in front of them shattered again, and a few holes appeared on its body. There was also a hole in between his eyebrows, so he stopped in midair. What happened? Why isn't it moving? Everyone was surprised again. Lin Xian, on the other hand, smiled. It seemed that he had indeed destroyed the stone golem. Not only did he have the black bugs, but he also had the heavenly secret divine eye. He discovered that there was a rune in the stone golem's head. Therefore, he asked the black bugs to bite the rune. As expected, the stone golem in front of them. It stopped moving. Damn it. Move. The middle crease twin kings roared like they had gone mad. However, no matter how they tried to control it, the stone golem seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep and stopped moving. It had truly turned into a statue. Come back. Lin Xian waved his hand, and all the black bugs returned to his side as he put them away. Seeing that scene, everyone went crazy. Damn it, what did that kid do? He actually took back the black bugs so easily? Oh my god, why do I feel that he can control those black bugs? One of the saints screamed. When the others heard that, they were even more terrified. Don't talk nonsense, how could he possibly control it? That was because the black worm contained the will of a saint, and he could not erase it. I say, stop scaring people. Voices rang out one after another. Clearly, no one dared to believe this fact. Lin Xian didn't explain. What he wanted was a sense of mystery. Only then would these saints and experts fear him. Sure enough, at this moment, the way everyone looked at Lin Xian changed. Damn it, this brat is too freaky. First, there was the terrifying soul power, and then there was the peerless sword art. Now, there was the black bug. In fact, he could even control it. Who the hell was this kid? Why do I feel that the twin kings of the central prefecture are in danger this time? Don't speak nonsense. Although the stone man was damaged, the central state twin kings were not injured. With the twin king's strength, defeating this brat was not a difficult task. However, there were also people who shook their heads. Haven't you noticed? Ever since this kid appeared, he hasn't lost a single battle. Whether it was the Five Elements Saint, the Myriad Thunder Saint, the Yin-Yang Saint, or the Twin Kings this time. Every opponent became stronger and stronger, but the other party also became stronger and even had more trump cards. The other party was like a bottomless pit, able to defeat all the experts and stay in an invincible position. Was this true? Everyone was horrified. They thought carefully and found that it was true. Since they knew him, he had never been defeated. God, this was the potential of a great emperor. An old man exclaimed, and the others turned their heads to look. It was rumored that when the great emperor was young, he had defeated all his peers and had never been defeated. It was common for him to kill enemies of a higher level. Only by defeating all the experts in the world could he become a great emperor. The brat in front of them seemed to be on the path of an ancient great emperor. The saint of all beginnings' eyes flickered as she spoke in a deep voice. Ancient great emperor. These 4 words were like a mountain, pressuring people to the point that they couldn't breathe. All the saints and saintesses were silent. They stared at Lin Xian, and a piercing light flashed in their eyes. Each of them looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Because as top geniuses and peerless geniuses, their goals were not only to become the saint lords of their respective holy lands. They also had a more ambitious goal, which was to become a great emperor. Because only by becoming a great emperor could one rule the world and be qualified to enter the legendary immortal realm. Only then could one be qualified to become an immortal. They had been working tirelessly for this goal. However, at that moment, there was someone walking ahead of them. The other party had already shown the potential and demeanor of a young great emperor, which made them extremely vigilant. On the road to becoming a great emperor, everyone was an enemy. The twin kings of Zhongzhou also understood this truth. Therefore, they did not hold back at all. They exerted all their strength and attacked. This was an extremely exciting battle. The two fought until the sky fell and the earth cracked, and the sun and moon lost their light. Countless rays of light shone in the sky, and cracks were everywhere. The monstrous sea of blood surged and dyed the entire sky red. The ancient dragon abyss sword crossed the sky, and every time it slashed down, it was accompanied by a shocking dragon roar. On the opposite side, the heavenly treasure Dharma wheel and the death scythe were also becoming more and more terrifying. They evolved magical powers all over the sky to compete with the piercing sword chi in the sky. Buzz. The shockwave of the shocking attack spread out in all directions. Suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Many experts did not have time to retreat and were directly sent flying by the shockwave. The other saints and experts' faces changed. It was too terrifying. Just the shockwave alone was so powerful, and it made them extremely shocked. The others also retreated crazily and no longer dared to go forward. Lin Xian also frowned. He had to admit that the twin kings of Zhongzhou were indeed terrifying. They were indeed powerful to be able to dominate Zhongzhou for so many years. If he did not have the great dragon sword soul to display his super powerful combat strength, it would be difficult for him to fight until now. After all, it was equivalent to him fighting against two saints with his own strength. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, there was another collision of ultimate skills. The power of light and darkness rushed toward Lin Xian together. Lin Xian used his 4 major killer moves to contend with them. The twin kings of Zhongzhou vomited blood and retreated. Lin Xian also kept retreating. His robe was dyed red with blood. The collision of magical powers caused both of them to be injured. Buzz. In the sky, Lin Xian stopped and activated the longevity incantation. The power in his body surged, and the light on his body flowed quickly, forming a dragon-shaped shadow that enveloped him. The giant dragon roared and sucked hard. The spiritual qi of heaven and earth in all directions was sucked into his body and poured into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian activated the longevity incantation and used the power to repair his body. On the other side, the twin kings of Zhongzhou were also roaring. The golden light on their bodies and the monstrous demonic qi kept rolling and repairing their wounds. Kid, I have to admit that you are strong and are our opponent. No one has been able to fight with us for so long. You are the first. However, this is the end. Next, I will let you know what true despair is. Chapter 25:58. Boom. Zhongzhou's twin kings roared, and a bronze chariot rushed out from between his eyebrows. Light swirled on the chariot, and sinister heads were engraved on it. It was very mysterious. The bronze chariot emitted an unparalleled power, shattering the void and causing the surrounding people to tremble. Heaven-grade treasure. Many people exclaimed. The saints' pupils shrank because they could feel that this was not an ordinary heaven-grade treasure. It might be a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. At this level, it was definitely a powerful weapon. It could wipe out an area. If it was controlled by a top almighty, it would be extremely terrifying. Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Zhongzhou's twin kings to have a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. Lin Xian also frowned. He knew the power of a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The ancient Taoist robe on his body was a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. He did not expect the other party to have one as well. But so what? Even if the other party had a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure, he was not afraid. Pumph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand bloomed with a brilliant light. It was an ancient treasure and a heaven-grade treasure. Its grade was unknown, but it obviously surpassed a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The dark red dragon used 9 seals to seal it. At this moment, Lin Xian had already broken 3 seals. But now, he had broken another one. The 4th seal was opened. Boom, boom, boom. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Sword qi swept across the world, shattering the void. The surrounding warriors' faces all changed. Damn it, the long sword in the kid's hand is also a treasure. Looking at its power, it was no weaker than a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The battle between 2 mid-grade heaven-grade treasures was absolutely terrifying and could destroy the world. If it were not for the saint's tomb, this attack would have completely collapsed everything within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. However, the saint's tomb had completely suppressed this power. The internal space was blasted into smithereens. That was not all. Outside the saint's tomb, countless large cracks had appeared within a radius of 1,000,000 miles and were spreading in all directions. The plains and earth had turned into huge canyons one after another. Damn it! Retreat! In the ancient tomb, the holy sons, holy daughters, and other experts retreated one after another. Leaf Daodenier, Sage Sun Alcade, and the Crown Prince of the Grand Xia all unleashed their power. Pumph. In the sky, the bronze chariot continued to expand until it was about 10 meters tall. There were ferocious heads on them. If one looked carefully, they were all ferocious beasts of the world. Among them, there were 4 heads that were the most terrifying. They were scattered around the bronze chariot. This bronze chariot was also known as the 4 Beasts Chariot. The twin kings of the Central Plains stood on the 4 Beasts Chariot, holding the heavenly treasure Dharma wheel and the death scythe. Their eyes shone with cold light. His powerful aura suppressed the surroundings. Kid, I admit that you're very powerful, but in front of our trump cards, you don't have any power to resist at all. If you obediently kneel down and accept your death, I can give you a quick death. The Central State Twin Kings look down like immortal kings, making people look up to them. You want me to admit defeat with a mere mid-grade Heaven Step artifact? You're really too naive. If you have any tricks up your sleeves, just use them. Lin Xian snorted disdainfully. You'll see. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll fulfill your wish. The Twin Kings of the Central State waved their palms. Tens of thousands of rays of light bloomed. The four ferocious heads seemed to come alive and roared. Countless rays of light spewed out from the four heads. Each ray of light could kill a peerless powerhouse. It could be said that it was extremely dangerous. Lin Xian held the ancient dragon abyss sword and attacked together with the great dragon sword soul. The two of them fought together again. The heavenly treasure Dharma wheel, the death scythe, endless demonic chi, and golden light shone in the sky. At the same time, Lin Xian used the power of 5 elements and the chaos sword technique. There were dragon roars and sword cries. All kinds of unique skills emerged one after another. Both of them used powerful attacks and trump cards. Lin Xian's eyes shone with cold light. The great dragon sword soul in his body continued to rise. Dragon roars and sword cries rang out. This time, he wanted to completely kill the Twin Kings of the Central State. He did not want to let them escape. He knew that this was a peerless enemy. Not only was he strong and talented, but he also had great opportunities. If he let them continue to grow, it would be troublesome for him in the future. It was better to take advantage of this opportunity to kill them completely. The Twin Kings of the Central State had the same plan. They drove the 4-beast chariot and attacked crazily. Lin Xian waved the ancient dragon sword and turned it into a giant dragon-shaped sword that was 100 feet long. It pressed down mercilessly. Sword after sword collided fiercely with the 4-beast chariot. Boom, boom. After dozens of sword strikes, the 4-beast chariot kept retreating. The Twin Kings of the Central State also vomited blood. Their bodies were dyed red. Even if they were strong and had the 4-beast chariot, they still could not resist. No way, that kid was so strong? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Originally, they thought that the Twin Kings of the Central State would win. But they did not expect that the two sides were locked in a fierce battle. When the Twin Kings took out their mid-grade heaven-grade artifacts, they thought that there was no suspense in this battle. However, things went beyond their expectations again. The Twin Kings of the Central State were the first to be injured, and the opponent was getting stronger and stronger. After the Twin Kings of the Central State became angry, the good one kept driving the 4-beast chariot, while the evil one spat out a black treasure saber. The treasure saber was broken in half and emitted a boundless killing intent. As soon as it appeared, it shattered the void. It was another mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. But it was a broken mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. Everyone exclaimed. They did not expect the Twin Kings of the Central State to have such a terrifying trump card. It was useless. It was just a broken mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. Even if it was used, it would not be a threat to them. Lin Xian's ancient robe burned fiercely, forming a strong defense. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand was even more powerful. Every strike tore the world apart. Boom, boom. However, there was someone who dared to speak to him in such a manner. Did he not want to live anymore? Or rather, what kind of mysterious background did he have? Lin Xian also frowned. The other party's arrogant attitude made him very unhappy. The Middle State Twin Kings looked up to the sky and laughed. Ha! Brat, continue to be arrogant. Come and kill me again. Just you wait. Wait until I leave and recover from my injuries. One day I will trample you under my feet. I will return all the humiliation that I have suffered today. The Middle State Twin Kings were really mad. Ever since he started his cultivation, he had never been defeated. Not to mention that he had beaten a cripple to the point where he was severely injured and almost killed. Therefore, he swore that he would not let the other party off. Do you think that a woman can protect you? Lin Xian sneered. The murderous intent in his eyes exploded again. Like a storm, it swept in all directions. Lin Xian, I admit that you are very strong. However, this time, you can't do anything to me. The Middle State twin kings were not afraid in the face of such a terrifying murderous intent. Instead, they sneered. What did you say his name was? The woman in white turned her head and frowned. His name is Lin Xian. He is the master of the immortal palace. The Middle State twin kings gritted their teeth and said again, Lin Xian? The Lin Xian who killed General Xianing? The woman in white asked. Yes, it was him. He was the one who killed our General Xianing. The people of the Tai dynasty screamed. Fairy, avenge us. That brat also killed our prince. The people of the Tai dynasty screamed crazily. However, just as they screamed, a scream came from afar. Immediately, everyone turned their heads to look. They all went crazy when they saw that. The people of the Tai dynasty had a mental breakdown. Their royal elder was torn in half by the Bloodwing Bat King, and half of his body was swallowed. The other half of his body exploded into a bloody mist. He was killed. Their imperial family elder had also been killed. The warriors of the Tai dynasty screamed crazily. Fairy, avenge us. Lin Xian? Very well, I'm looking for you. I didn't expect you to be here. It was really a case of traveling far and wide looking for something, only to find it without any effort. The woman in white sneered. Lin Xian frowned. Looking for me? Which side are you on? Why are you looking for me? He did not know the woman in front of him, nor did he know who she was. He originally thought that she was just passing by and came to save the Middle State twin kings. Who would have thought that it was not the case? I am the war concubine of the war tribe. The woman in white's voice was sonorous. When she spoke, it was like thunder, shattering the world in all directions. War tribe. War concubine. Heavens, she was actually from the war tribe. Everyone was shocked. Even Lin Xian frowned. He did not expect that the woman in white was actually from the war tribe. He was no stranger to the war tribe. He had once killed the young prodigy of the war tribe, the Golden Lion King. He had also fought with the peerless powerhouse of the war tribe, Zhan Wuhan. He had a deep understanding of the power of the war tribe. He did not expect that the woman in front of him was also from the war tribe. She should be a genius of the war tribe. However, so what? Lin Xian snorted coldly and pointed his sword forward. So she's from the war tribe. But are you here to die again? How dare you? Chapter 2561. Seeing Lin Xian's body tremble, Zhang Ji revealed a disdainful sneer in the distance. Kid, did you see that? I've only activated my bloodline power and you're already trembling. What else do you have to fight against me? A mortal like you can't even withstand a single blow from my war tribe's bloodline. Now, kneel down obediently and accept your death. Zhang Ji's voice was cold. In the distance, Zhongzhou's twin kings, Tai dynasty, and Five Elements Palace all smiled sinisterly. It seemed that there was no suspense in this battle. This was because they had never seen Lin Xian use his bloodline power before. Thinking about it, he shouldn't have any powerful bloodline. In that case, he wouldn't be able to fight against the war tribe's bloodline power. Bloodline power? It was indeed very powerful. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. But you don't have anything to be proud of. This bloodline power was passed down to you by your ancestors. Even if it's glorious, it's your ancestors' glory, not yours. I don't understand. What do you have to be proud of? Besides, do you think you're invincible just because you have the bloodline power? Today, I'll let you know that even without the bloodline power, I can still beat you up. The sword chi on Lin Xian's body became brighter and brighter. Ignorant kid, you'll regret it soon. Zhang Ji's voice was cold. She didn't say anything else, and the blood-red light on her body became stronger and stronger. Mysterious runes revolved around her body. The aura on her body was much stronger than before. One could imagine that her strength had also increased by several times. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian made his move. He wouldn't let his opponent's strength continue to increase. Using the demigods and semi-devils, Lin Xian rushed forward like lightning. At the same time, he waved the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand and slashed forward. Boom! The sky trembled and exploded. Zhang Ji also made her move. She waved her halberd, drawing out streaks of golden light in the sky to block the opponent's sword chi. She couldn't get close. With a soft shout, the bloodline power on Zhang Ji's body became dazzling. Countless runes flickered, providing her with powerful strength. Boom! The halberd was swung, turning into a terrifying golden demonic mountain that descended from the sky, causing the dragon origin sword to tremble violently. How terrifying! Was this the power of the battle clan's bloodline? It was actually able to raise the opponent's combat strength to such a high level. The surrounding cultivators all trembled in fear. Even Leaf Doudenier, No Flower, and the others wore dignified expressions. This Zhang Ji was definitely a super strong opponent. If they were to encounter him, they would probably have to go all out to deal with him. This combat concubine was too powerful. That brat might not be able to resist her. Indeed, he was too arrogant. He had underestimated the power of his bloodline. This was especially true for the war race, a race that had been passed down since ancient times. His strength and foundation were absolutely terrifying. Furthermore, from the looks of it, this war concubine's bloodline power was extremely pure. Likely, it was rare even in the war race. Sounds of discussion rang out one after another. The majority of the people were talking about the battle clan's bloodline power. Older brother Xian, Lin Xian Gij. In the distance, on the other side, Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu were also extremely nervous. Murong Qingqing's body flickered with light as countless petals danced in the air. A green lotus platform revolved beneath her feet. On her body, there were mysterious blood-red runes. Clearly, Murong Qingqing had also activated her bloodline power. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu was the same. However, both of them were extremely nervous. In fact, they couldn't help but want to attack. Don't worry. Just watch the battle quietly. That fellow will not lose so easily. Don't worry. Just watch the battle quietly. Indeed, among these people, the one who understood Lin Xian's strength the most wasn't Murong Qingqing or Shen Jingqiu. Instead, it was the dark red divine dragon that had always grown with Lin Xian. Therefore, the dark red divine dragon was the least worried now. At the very least, he knew that Lin Xian wouldn't lose so easily. Buzz buzz buzz. Lin Xian was pushed back. The dragon source sword roared, his arms trembled, and the blood in his body surged. His body almost split open. How terrifying! Is this the bloodline power of the war tribe? It's indeed powerful. His expression was extremely solemn as a trace of golden light appeared in his eyes. At the same time, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared continuously. He's indeed a powerful opponent. However, this time, he should be able to make me go all out. Lin Xian felt the blood in his body boiling. He wasn't afraid. Instead, he was excited. After all, it wasn't easy to find a powerful opponent and fight to his heart's content. Now, he had finally found one. Very good. The bloodline power of the war tribe is very powerful. It's worth it for me to go all out. Lin Xian waved his arm and circulated the energy in his body to remove the numbness. At the same time, terrifying sword chi burst out from his body. His combat strength increased once again. A dragon-shaped shadow appeared on his body and roared. What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the surrounding people were shocked. What did he mean by it was worth it for him to go all out? Could it be that he didn't use his full strength previously? How was that possible? No one believed it. They didn't believe it and thought that he was just putting on a show. However, when they sensed that Lin Xian's sword chi had become stronger again, they were all stunned. Their bodies trembled as they knelt on the ground. His strength had actually increased. Damn it. How was that possible? Could it be that he really didn't use his full strength previously? I don't believe it. He didn't use his full strength and killed the Yin-Yang Saint? He defeated the twin kings of Middle State? Just what level had this brat's true strength reached? Screams rang out as everyone looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at a super monster. Zhang Ji also frowned. Lin Xian didn't run away in fear. Instead, he became more courageous and even said more arrogant words. Used his full strength? Don't try to be mysterious. You must have used a secret technique to burn your spiritual power or blood to temporarily obtain this powerful strength. That's an unorthodox technique that can temporarily increase one's strength. However, the aftereffects are huge. Compared to our bloodline power, it's a far cry. Zhang Ji's face was full of disdain. In her opinion, Lin Xian had used such a self-damaging method to increase his strength again. As long as the situation wasn't right, he would immediately use it. Cast bean soldiers. He would use the best puppets to save Lin Xian. Cough cough. In the sky, Lin Xian stopped and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. Kid, do you see that? This is the difference between us. In front of the power of my bloodline, you have no chance of resisting. So, obediently kneel and accept your death. I can give you a quick death. The war concubine looked down at Lin Xian from above. Victory was already in her hands. Her opponent couldn't block the ancestor's phantom she summoned. He kept panting, and his Taoist robe was dyed red with blood. However, his eyes were getting brighter and brighter. Kill me with one move? What a joke! After one move, I'm still alive and well. Don't you think that's very mocking? Lin Xian's voice sounded, shocking everyone. Zhang Ji's expression became extremely gloomy. The other party actually dodged. This was really beyond her expectations. Moreover, not only did the other party dodge, but he also mocked her. Zhang Ji's expression darkened, and her killing intent swept out like a storm. So what if the other party dodged? He was just relying on his strange speed. However, judging from the current situation, the other party couldn't compete with her at all. He could only dodge passively. How many times could he use this speed? Even if he didn't die after 2 moves, he would definitely die after the 3rd. Kid, I have to say that your strength is indeed beyond my expectations. You can actually take 2 of my moves. However, you don't have to be arrogant. Your current situation is basically no different from death. Do you think you can escape my attack in the end? You'll just live a little longer. Everyone was silent. Indeed, they felt that Zhang Ji was right. Judging from the current situation, Lin Xian could only dodge, and he couldn't completely avoid it. After one move, he would be seriously injured. If the other party didn't have precious recovery treasures like the large drop of Earth Spirit liquid, he would be dead. Even if he didn't die, he would probably be half dead. Lin Xian didn't say anything. He flipped his palm and took out a jade gourd. He opened the cap and was about to swallow the Earth Spirit liquid to heal his body. However, at that moment, he frowned. His figure swayed and he dodged to the side. As soon as he moved, the void beside him exploded. Boundless demonic chi and golden light enveloped him. Although Lin Xian was seriously injured, his soul was not injured. Therefore, he sensed the danger in advance and dodged. However, at that moment he was still seriously injured, so he couldn't completely dodge. Half of his body was swept away by the surging demonic chi, and he was sent flying. Damn it, what happened now? The shocking change stunned everyone on the spot. Die, kid. A sinister voice came from the front, causing everyone to come back to their senses. The Twin Kings. It was the Twin Kings of Middle Ground. He actually made a move at that moment. It seemed that he hated the other party to the core and wanted to kill him with his own hands. Cries of surprise could be heard. That's right, the one who made the move was none other than the Twin Kings of Middle Ground. Previously, they saw that Lin Xian was seriously injured twice, so they seized the opportunity to make a move before the other party recovered. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian. They didn't succeed in killing him in one move. Kid, you can't escape. The Twin Kings of Middle Ground had a sinister expression. Although his origin was still injured and could not fully recover, he could still kill a seriously injured enemy with only 80% of his strength left. It was definitely a piece of cake. Blood-winged Bat King, kill him! Seeing the twin kings of Middle Ground charging at him again, Lin Xian roared angrily. Buzz! A blood-red figure appeared and charged at the twin kings of Middle Ground. An intense collision sounded, and the twin kings of Middle Ground were sent flying. The blood-winged Bat King spread its wings and charged over. Damn beast, get lost! Chapter 2564. Zhongzhou's twin kings roared angrily as they brandished their heavenly treasure Dharma wheel and death scythe at the blood-winged Bat King. However, the Bat King was a guardian of the ancient tomb and could not be killed in a short time. Instead, Zhongzhou's twin kings were in danger. Buzz! Lin Xian took advantage of this moment to swallow the earth essence liquid. His damaged body and broken bones were all healed. It was useless. Zhang Ji looked at this scene and did not stop him. She looked at all of this coldly with disdain in her eyes. So what if he recovered? Previously, he could not block her palm when he was at full strength. Now that he had recovered, did he think he could block it? She did not think so. You have eaten so many heavenly treasures, so there must be a lot of energy left in your body. After I kill you, I will refine your body and refine all of your energy for my use. Zhang Ji's voice was cold as she slowly raised her palm. Was it going to end? Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. Lin Xian would not be able to withstand the third palm strike. Lin Xian took a deep breath as a cold light burst out from his eyes. He formed a seal with his palms and the sword chi on his body became more and more piercing, forming a dragon-shaped sword shadow in front of him. As soon as the dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared, a dragon's roar and a sword's cry rang out. In an instant, countless cracks appeared in the sky. Everyone's bodies trembled again as they kept retreating. Many people were pressed to the ground. Damn it, what was that? He still had a trump card. Even the saints and saintesses exclaimed in surprise. What a terrifying sword intent. This aura was not weaker than the blood-colored figure at all. Damn it, who said that this kid did not have a bloodline power? Screams rang out one after another. They now suspected that Lin Xian definitely had a bloodline power, and it was a very terrifying bloodline power. Otherwise, why would the dragon-shaped sword shadow be? The power of the dragon-shaped sword shadow was simply too terrifying. Even Zhang Ji frowned at the sight of it. She also felt a sense of threat that could threaten her life. She could not believe it. Her opponent's sword intent was on par with her ancestor's shadow. How was that possible? One had to know that she had the bloodline of the war tribe. The bloodline of the war tribe was extremely powerful. It took tens of thousands of years of accumulation to form the bloodline power. What was the dragon shadow in her opponent's body? How could it be on par with her ancestor's shadow? She did not know. She did not believe it. The next moment, she said coldly, "Damned brat, no matter what you have, you will not be able to escape death today. Now go to hell." Zhang Ji didn't want to drag this out any longer. She used all of her strength and struck out with her final palm. Buzz. In the sky, the blood-red figure slowly raised his palm and slapped forward again. The power of this palm was even more terrifying. It was as if 100,000 blood seas were surging in the sky. Nothing could resist? Buzz. Lin Xian held onto the dragon-shaped sword as well. It was. He swung his sword without holding back at all. Dragon sword sword dragon sword 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 dragon sword sword dragon sword 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 dragon dragon sword. Boom boom. The two collided fiercely. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The 9 heavens and 10 lands were completely devoured. At that moment, everyone activated their defenses and resisted with all their might. They even used their trump cards. Otherwise, they might be killed by the aftermath of the energy. Between the heavens and the earth, the rumbling continued. Many people fled into the distance. Some even left the palace completely and ran into the passage to take refuge. Countless gazes looked at the sky. Although they could not see anything, they still stared at it, unwilling to let it go. Finally, the smoke dissipated. Everything was revealed. It appeared. Everyone held their breaths. But soon they were stunned. In the sky, the faces of the two figures were incomparably pale, without a trace of blood. However, upon closer inspection, they were completely different. Although Lin Xian's face was pale and his aura was chaotic, he still stood there. The dragon-shaped sword in his hand was also roaring. On the other side, Zhang Ji was different. The blood-colored shadow behind her gradually dissipated. Finally, it shattered into countless fragments and merged into her body. As for her, she vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Her body was slashed open, almost split into two halves. What? Zhang Ji was defeated. The bloodline phantom had been directly slain. How was that possible? Everyone was stunned and could not believe it. At that moment, the minds of the saints and saintesses went blank. Even Yi Wudao, No Flower, the Alcade Saint, the Great Xia Prince, and the others were shocked. To be honest, they were worried that Lin Xian might not be able to resist the Ancestor's shadow. After all, they had a deep understanding of the Ancestor's shadow. However, things were beyond their expectations. The one who was defeated was not Lin Xian, but Zhang Ji. Not only was Zhang Ji defeated, but she was also almost killed. Her bloodline shadow was directly shattered. Everyone looked at Lin Xian in horror. They stared at the dragon-shaped sword in his hand, their hearts beating wildly. What was that dragon-shaped sword? Why was it so powerful? Was it the power of the bloodline? Or was it something else? Could it be something that belonged to a saint? They did not know. They wanted to continue observing, but Lin Xian had already absorbed the dragon-shaped sword into his body. He took a step forward and walked forward. In front of him, Zhang Ji was half kneeling on the ground, blood flowing from her body. She shook her head frantically. Impossible, damn it, this is impossible. I can't be defeated. How could my ancestor's shadow be shattered? She had gone crazy. Originally, she was full of confidence and thought that she could easily kill her opponent. But now, she had been defeated. She had been utterly defeated, and her bloodline shadow had been shattered. This caused her confidence and faith to shatter. She was on the verge of collapse. Because her opponent had not been lucky. He had completely defeated her in the area she was most confident in. There was nothing more despairing than this feeling. Lin Xian walked towards Zhang Ji. At the same time, he spoke in a deep voice. War race prodigy? Bloodline power? Ancestor's shadow? I told you, you can't kill me with this. As he spoke, Lin Xian had already arrived in front of Zhang Ji. Zhang Ji raised her head and looked at him with a ferocious expression. Damn brat, I don't believe it. I was careless this time. Next time, I will definitely kill you with my own hands. Next time? Lin Xian sneered. Do you think there will be a next time? Do you think I will let you go? What? Zhang Ji's pupils constricted. You dare to kill me? I am a prodigy of the war race. She screamed crazily. Lin Xian sneered in disdain. Was the prodigy of the war race very powerful? Wasn't the Golden Lion King a prodigy of the war race? As long as we can block him for a while, when the powerhouses of my war tribe arrive, they will definitely kill him. What? The powerhouses of the war tribe are here. Everyone's eyelids twitched when they heard that. A war tribe's genius was already so powerful. How terrifying would the true powerhouses of the war tribe be? Thinking of this, Tai Dynasty, 5 Elements Palace, 10,000 Thunder Sacred Land, and the others all moved. They originally had a grudge with Lin Xian. Now that they saved Zhang Ji, they could join forces with the war tribe and kill him together. Courting death. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He opened the jade gourd and swallowed 2 drops of spirit liquid again. His strength recovered. At the same time, 3 drops of spirit liquid floated out and landed on his body, repairing the wounds on his body. Lin Xian quickly recovered. He waved his long sword and sent all the people who came to rescue him flying. Those who were weak were directly killed with a single slash. Those elders who were stronger were also sent flying while vomiting blood. For a moment, no one dared to approach. With the strength of a single person, he killed everyone in all directions. This scene shocked everyone. Zhang Ji was killed to the point where she had nowhere to go. Her trump cards were destroyed one after another. It seemed that she could no longer fight back. However, at this moment, rumbling sounds came from afar. Immediately after, countless powerful auras appeared and quickly spread from the passage. What was going on? Everyone was horrified when they felt this enormous power. This power was too powerful. It was enough to destroy everyone here. Could it be that something had happened in this ancient tomb? Had a powerful formation awakened? Everyone was terrified. However, someone carefully sensed it and screamed, "Elder, it's our elder who's back." It seemed that they had successfully resisted the Big Dipper coffin. As soon as this was said, everyone sensed it. Sure enough, they sensed the auras of their respective elders. Immediately, they cried out in surprise and heaved a sigh of relief. Great, this ancient tomb was extremely dangerous. Although they were outstanding prodigies, they were still too young. With the elders around, it would be much safer. Among them, the people of 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor, Myriad Thunder's Sacred Land, 5 Elements Palace, and Tai Dynasty screamed crazily. "Elders, come and save us." They had to join forces and save Zhangji. "Who dares to attack us?" An angry roar sounded. Those elders roared again and again. They thought that something had happened, but before they could arrive, their souls had already investigated. Their gazes were like lightning, piercing through all directions. They saw the situation in the hall clearly. When they saw Zhangji, they were extremely surprised. The people of the war tribe had also come. However, when they saw the entire scene, they were indeed stunned. The prodigies of the war tribe were being hunted down. The elders of the other holy lands also calmed down. They took a deep breath as a cold light bloomed in their eyes. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.